Chapter 161-Fierce Battle. The latter is of course because she is a beautiful woman. Although the other party is an idiot with a lot of fun, who made her a beautiful woman. If the other party is not as idiotic as the original book, Feng Yi will not let it go. She is wearing high heels. Those slender and smooth long legs and slender figure deeply affect Feng Yi's heart. Really, it's really you, Crocodile. However, when they saw Crocodile, Princess Vivi and the bird and bird fruit ability man Bill stared wide-eyed, looking at Crocodile in disbelief, with indignant expressions in their eyes. I didn't expect that it was really Crocodile that made Alabasta fall into drought. The culprit. Ha ha, Princess Vivi, long time no see, you are still so beautiful and cute. Seeing Princess Vivi, Crocodile didn't feel guilty or anything, but chuckled. Captain Feng Yi, since your Maple Leaf Pirates want to sabotage my plan, then you can't blame me. Now I give you two choices. The first is to leave Alabasta for me immediately. If you want Bailey, I can give it to you. 1 billion, as long as you leave Alabasta. Second, you will all die here today. Then Crocodile turned to Feng Yi and said coldly. The killing intent in his eyes is undisguised. Feng Yi destroys his plan. It is strange that he does not want to kill Feng Yi, but Crocodile does have a little fear of the strength of the Maple Leaf Pirates, so if he can spend money, he does not want to be with Maple Leaf the Pirates or evil. Hearing Crocodile's words, Robin glanced at Crocodile in surprise. When did Crocodile become so good at talking? However, when she thought of the strength of the entire Maple Leaf Pirates, she felt that Crocodile's fear was necessary. Seeing Feng Yi exuding bursts of haki all over his body, for some reason, Robin suddenly wanted to join such a powerful Maple Leaf Pirates if Feng Yi could kill Crocodile. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. This is only to see if the Maple Leaf Pirates have this strength. Not a powerful pirate group, Robin will not join. As for Princess Vivi and King Guard Bill, after hearing Crocodile's words, they looked at Feng Yi nervously, fearing that Feng Yi would agree to Crocodile's conditions. Only Nami's eyes lit up when she heard the billion Bailey in Crocodile's mouth. Humph. Needless to say, it's so important to raise the bounty for 1 billion Baileys. It's just that Feng Yi snorted coldly when he heard this, and looked at Crocodile contemptuously. The meaning of Feng Yi's mouth is to kill or defeat Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai, then his bounty can soar. The fame naturally increases. Humph. Don't eat and drink for toast. Hearing Feng Yi's answer, Crocodile's face immediately turned cold. Then all of you will die here today. Go, kill them all. Then Crocodile ordered all the members of the Baroque Works Club. Yes, President. Ha ha, let's go. Look at my shemale boxing. Hearing Crocodile's order, all the members of Baroque Works shouted and charged towards Feng Yi and the others. Only Mr. .3 Vivi stepped back. He wanted to maintain the entire Candle Castle and defend Naruto at any time. Beautiful rain attack. Bomb number 1. Mr. .5 first dug a booger bomb and blasted it out. Miss. Valentine's Day also flew up lightly, flying towards Feng Yi and the others, and then when he reached Feng Yi's head, he suddenly gained weight, and his delicate body smashed down. There are also several swordsmen, all attacking. Kuina and the others have chosen an opponent to fight. It's really a nasty way of fighting. Seeing Miss Valentine's body on top of her head down, Feng Yi couldn't help laughing. Vivi looked up at her who was wearing a short skirt. The white one is still in the shape of a little white rabbit. Feng Yi took a look and almost spit out a nosebleed, actually letting Feng Yi directly see Xiao Nei under Miss Lover's miniskirt. Sneak a peek at my little one. Go to hell. Miss Valentine, who attacked Feng Yi, heard Feng Yi's words, and couldn't help but blushed, and immediately scolded Feng Yi, and the figure slammed down even more. Boom. Feng Yi's figure flashed away, and she blasted a hollow on the ground of rock eye. Light and fluttering fruit. After failing to make a single blow, Miss Valentine flew again, but she had learned from the previous lesson. She had already clamped her slender legs, and Feng Yi would not be able to see Xiao Nei inside. "Don't run away if you can," she shouted at Feng Yejiao. Miss Valentine's really delicate body was slammed down at Feng Yi again. Feng Yi was sweating again when he heard the words. "Although I like to press beauties very much, but it's okay to do this to you. It's stupid not to avoid me." Then dodged again, and Feng Yi couldn't help but return to Miss Valentine's Day. Humph. Miss Valentine's Day heard the words and snorted again in embarrassment. "I still want to attack Feng Yi." Kai. However, a figure is blocking Feng Yi's side. It's Kuina. Seeing that Feng Yi was entangled by Miss Valentine's Day, and Feng Yi was reluctant to attack her, Kuina decided to attack her. "Feng Yi, you should deal with that crocodile. This girl will be handed over to me." The word Hidao in his hand pointed to Miss Valentine's Day in the air, and Kuina said to Feng Yi. Kuina, be careful, just take her captive, don't kill her. Go back and pull her into our pirate group." Feng Yi heard the words and nodded, although it was only a few face-to-face meetings, but Feng Yi found out that he actually likes the cute and silly Miss Valentine's Day, so he decided to recruit her as a member of the Maple Leaf Pirates. You must see the scenery below Xiaobai Rabbit," Feng Yi said secretly in his heart. Desert Sword. Kai. The moment Feng Yi's words fell, a cloud of sand suddenly appeared beside Feng Yi. Crocodile's figure suddenly appeared, and then Crocodile's right hand turned into sand, facing Feng Yi's on like a treasured sword fall down. While Feng Yi was distracted, Crocodile opened up and attacked. Humph. However, in the face of Crocodile's sneak attack, Feng Yi snorted coldly. Under the perception of emotional fruit, how could he not sense Crocodile's sneak attack? The rein in his hand was slashing towards Crocodile's attack. Boom. The powerful collision resounded in the next second. Under the attack of Crocodile's desert sword, Feng Yi's figure was blocked, but the figure was knocked back out. Chapter 162 _ The battle continues. It's just that Feng Yi did it on purpose. There were Kuina and the others around him. If he didn't keep a little distance, he wouldn't be able to let go of his hands and feet to fight Crocodile. Then at the moment of the explosion, Feng Yi also saw the battlefield clearly. Kuina played against Miss Valentine's Day, and Shi Yu played against Mr. 2 Bentham. Bomb Mr. .5 fights that King Guard Bill. There are other people, all have their own opponents, only Kaya, Yuxin and Maggie's 3 daughters. There are no enemies in the empty space, stand back and watch everyone's battle. Nami was also weak after the rain, so she just picked a member of Baroque Works to fight. Go to hell. Desert King Kong's sword. Seeing Feng Yi's retreat, Crocodile immediately chased after him, turned his hands into 4 knife-shaped sands, and slashed down at Feng Yi. Crazy sand photography. Facing Crocodile's move, Feng Yi quickly unleashed a sword skill. Chi. I saw that the sharp sand that Crocodile attacked Feng Yi, some of which were under Feng Yi's wild sand photography, were actually motivated by Feng Yi's sword chi, which relatively weakened Crocodile's attack power. Puff puff. Then the rain and dew in Feng Yi's hand took over Crocodile's attack. 2 of them were avoided by Feng Yi and slashed on the ground. The rocky floor couldn't stop the sharp attack. Violently chopped out 2 giant pits. Although Crocodile's attack is not very flashy, the destructive power caused by these simple 2 moves is equivalent to Feng Yi's sword slash, which shows that Crocodile's strength is not weak at all. In the original book, he would lose to Luffy, but he was completely lost to Luffy's pig halo. Want to kill me, Sand Crocodile? You look down on yourself too much. Blocking Crocodile's attack, Feng Yi is Isho who disdains Crocodile. Kai. Then Yulu in Feng Yi's hand slashed a blood-red slash, slashing towards Crocodile. Bloodthirsty fang broken. Kai. In the face of Feng Yi's sharp slash, Crocodile's eyes were also shocked by Vivi. If he was hit, he would be seriously injured even if he died. But then Crocodile is cold Isho. Your attacks are useless against me. After sneering, Crocodile's figure turned into sand and dissipated. Feng Yi's slashing attack was on it, and did not cause any damage to Crocodile. Chi chi chi. Immediately after that, Crocodile came to Feng Yi's back. The speed was extremely fast. He was the fastest enemy Feng Yi had encountered besides Hawkeye. Those with a slightly slower response, just with the speed of Crocodile, can easily kill countless enemies. Whoosh. However, Crocodile's speed was extremely fast, and Feng Yi's speed was not too slow. The moment Crocodile appeared, Feng Yi quickly retreated, causing Crocodile's attack to fail immediately. Chi chi chi. Then Feng Yi and Crocodile fought fiercely together. Every slash of Feng Yi was evaded by Crocodile's easy elementalization of his body, and Crocodile's attack could not help Feng Yi. Kai. Crocodile's actions in advance. Feng Yi finally slashed Crocodile, who had just appeared behind Feng Yi without using Haki's blessing. Puff. Arrow sprayed out. Crocodile couldn't help but burst out in anger, looked at his arm angrily, and there was a wound on it. Although it was not deep, the speed of Feng Yi's attack still shocked Crocodile. Damn. Looking at Feng Yi's figure, Crocodile's eyes were about to burst into flames, and he was actually injured. This was the first time he had been injured in the past few years. Stretching out his tongue and licking the blood on his arm, Crocodile couldn't help but look at Feng Yi with a ferocious expression, obviously passive and really angry. Mikazuki-shaped sand dunes. Then Crocodile launched an attack, and countless sand dunes attacked Feng Yi. It's sand that absorbs body water. If you are attacked, the water in your body will also be absorbed. Humph. However, Feng Yi just snorted, and his figure disappeared in place. Only an afterimage was left, making Crocodile's attack in vain. Whoosh. In Crocodile's shock, Feng Yi's figure instantly appeared behind him. How is it possible? Seeing that Feng Yi's speed was suddenly so much faster, Crocodile couldn't help exclaiming in his heart. Then, without any hesitation, Crocodile immediately made his body elemental, and then avoided Feng Yi's sharp knife attack. Humph. Is this the strength of one of Shichibukai? It's too bad, compared to Hawkeye, you're too weak. Knife failed to hit Crocodile, and Feng Yi was not surprised, and then laughed lightly. The contempt in his tone was obvious. Humph. Arrows samsara. Hearing Feng Yi's sarcastic tone, Crocodile was instantly furious, and hit Feng Yi with his strongest blow. Boom. In an instant, Feng Yi felt the entire space around him tremble, and a huge sense of crisis struck immediately. Without any hesitation, he couldn't even leave with a flash. Feng Yi put the whole body of Haki on the surface of his body. Boom. I saw that the sand and rocks around Feng Yi, or the floor, were all turned into sand and rocks under the erosion cycle of Crocodile's move. Feng Yi also felt that Dao's body trembled, but with Haki's body protection, Feng Yi was not hurt by it. But even so, Feng Yi felt a pain in his body and mind, as if he had been shaken by a strong force, as if he had been hit by a giant hammer. You're actually fine. Seeing that Feng Yi didn't avoid his attack, and he was not injured after hitting his attack, Crocodile couldn't help looking at Feng Yi in shock and anger. That is his strongest attacking move, and it has no effect on Feng Yi. Crocodile really doesn't want to believe it. But the fact was in front of him, and he couldn't let him not believe it. Humph. Your attack is just tickling me at most. Chapter 163 _ Make persistent efforts. Hearing this, Feng Yi couldn't help but sneer. His aura was already extremely alert to Crocodile's attack. If he tried to erode samsara a few times, his Haki would be exhausted. Hearing Feng Yi's words, Crocodile's control of Feng Yi's anger was such that he became more and more angry, and attacked Feng Yi. Boom boom boom. Feng Yi and Crocodile fought again and again. The face of Crocodile, Feng Yi never suspected Haki on the blade, so if he was haunted, even if Crocodile became an element, Feng Yi could still attack him. Feng Yi didn't want to end the battle so quickly, or was run away by Crocodile. He didn't have much experience in fighting such a super powerhouse, so Feng Yi was still quickly absorbing the experience of fighting against a powerhouse like Crocodile. The last time I played against Eagle Eye was completely beaten, and this time Feng Yi can really continuously absorb valuable experience. To be honest, in terms of combat experience, Crocodile is much stronger than him, but Crocodile's speed is not as fast as Feng Yi, so there is no way to take Feng Yi. Boom. At this time, Bill, who was fighting with Mr. 5, was hit by a booger bomb from Mr. 5, and his entire body was blown away. Wow! Bill screamed, a mouthful of blood spit out, and the animalized exterior of his body slowly returned to a human appearance, but Bill lost his fighting power in this way. Uncle Bill. Seeing that Bill was seriously injured and blown away, Princess Vivi suddenly screamed. Then immediately stand in front of Bill. President, can the princess be killed? Seeing Princess Vivi standing in front of him, Mr. 5 couldn't help but turn his head and ask Crocodile, who was fighting against Feng Yi. However, when he saw that Feng Yi could actually fight against Crocodile even more, he couldn't help but be shocked. As expected of the captain of the Maple Leaf Pirates, he was so strong that Crocodile couldn't even take Feng Yi. He already knows the secret of our organization. No need to keep it, just kill it. Hearing Mr. 5 Feet's words, Crocodile couldn't help but said impatiently to Mr. 5 while fighting against Feng Yi. Okay, I see. When Mr. 5 heard the words, Isho immediately saw Princess Vivi without any hesitation. A booger flew out. Get out of the way. Behind Princess Vivi, couldn't help but exclaimed. He had personally experienced the power of that bomb. If Princess Vivi hits, she might be killed. Kai tilde. However, just when Princess Vivi was attacked, Shiyu, who was fighting with the Shemale Bentham, saw this with a sword attack, blocking Mr. 5 Feet's booger bomb attack. Boom. The huge explosion exploded a few meters in front of Princess Vivi, and Princess Vivi was not injured. Body of Rage, come out. And just when Mr. 5 was angry and wanted to continue attacking Princess Vivi, a cold snort resounded, and when combined, Mr. 5 was shocked to find that a figure exactly like him appeared beside him, but the other party a red fire of anger burns. Feng Yi didn't expect that Bill would be defeated by Mr. 5, only to summon the body of anger to the opponent's Mr. 5 first. Humph, you dare to be distracted while fighting with me, go to hell. Although I still don't know what kind of devil fruit ability Feng Yi is, but seeing Feng Yi fighting him and helping Princess Vivi, Crocodile is even more angry. The whole body has turned into sand that can absorb human body water, and circled towards the ceiling leaf. Humph, I've had enough of it. Your body of anger, come out too. Hearing Crocodile's words, Feng Yi couldn't help but sneer at him. The moment Feng Yi's words fell, a cloud of red sand appeared from the sand where Crocodile was incarnated, and then attacked with Crocodile. Chi chi chi. Boom. Two balls of sand were strangled together, and then two figures came out with a bang, one is Crocodile, and the other is Crocodile's angry body. This. Seeing Feng Yi summon a man exactly like him, Crocodile couldn't help being shocked. Looking at Feng Yi in shock. Hey, my fruit is an emotional fruit. It can materialize the enemy's anger and help me fight. Although it only takes 5 minutes, it's enough for me to deal with you. Seeing the surprised Crocodile, Feng Yi couldn't help but haha Isho said. Facing the enemy for the first time, he revealed the power of his fruit. What? Hearing the fruit ability of Feng Yi, Crocodile couldn't help but be shocked. With his wisdom, he immediately thought of the power of Feng Yi's fruit ability. Using their devil fruit ability, he has just seen it, it's a super imitator. Bentham's imitation fruit. Compared with Feng Yi's anger, Crocodile felt that Feng Yi's imitation fruit was the right one. The opponent's devil fruit ability can be imitated. Bentham's is shit. Hey, just let your wrathful body play with you. Feng Yeke, regardless of Crocodile's shocked look, proudly issued to him, is to order Crocodile's angry body to attack Crocodile. Ha tilde. Because it only lasted 5 minutes, Feng Yi directly let Crocodile's body of anger perform an elemental attack that consumes energy, and his body dodged, turning into countless sands and swept up against Crocodile. Damn! Facing the attack of his body of anger, Crocodile could only choose elementalization to fight against it, otherwise there was no other way, unless he used water, but he himself did not dare to touch it. Actually wanting to fight with his body of anger, Crocodile couldn't help but feel extremely aggrieved, roared again and again, and wanted to cross his body of anger and smashed Feng Yi. But Crocodile's body of anger did not let him go. Under the elementalization, Crocodile was tightly entangled, so that Crocodile could only fight with his body of anger. No matter how depressed Crocodile was, while Crocodile was entangled in his body of anger, he watched Nami and the others fight. Chapter 164-Panic. The first thing Feng Yi saw was Shiyu, who played against Bentham. When Feng Yi looked at it, Bentham was about to lose. In the face of Shiyu, who offered a bounty of 4,000 W Bailey or more, he offered a bounty of 3,000 W Bailey. How could Bentham, who is not there, be Shiyu's opponent? Boom! Under Feng Yi's gaze, Bentham happened to be defeated by Shiyu, and Shiyu didn't kill him, but just chopped him off and fell to the side, then he passed out. Then Feng Yi saw that Tashigi also brought down her opponent, a swordsman that Feng Yi did not know. And Kuina is almost the same, and it seems that he will soon defeat his own pair. In general, the people of Baroque works were almost defeated by all the women. The overall strength of the Maple Leaf Pirates is much stronger than that of the Baroque Works Club. You can tell by looking at the bounty, and it is not surprising that they were defeated by the Maple Leaf Pirates. However, when Feng Yi looked at Mr. 5, he found that his body of anger had been defeated by Mr. 5, but Mr. 5 was also seriously injured and fell to the ground. Bloodthirsty Fang broken. Seeing that Mr. 5 was seriously injured and fell to the ground, Feng Yi didn't say much. A slash was a slash, and the enemy who had just nearly injured Princess Vivi just now, Feng Yi didn't plan to let him go. Ah! Don't! Hearing the sound of breaking the air, Mr. 5 couldn't help but scream in anger, and it was too late to look up to get out of the way, so he could only exclaim, Kai! However, the slash from Feng Yi's hand was incomprehensible. In Mr. 5's scream, the bloody slash from Feng Yi sent him flying, and his body broke when it flew into the air. It's in half. Boom! And Mr. 5's entire body actually exploded in the air. It seems that the ability to obtain explosive fruits is not a good thing. When he dies, his body will be blown to pieces. Con. It's better than being cut in half and dying. However, Feng Yi secretly praised when he saw this. This is a good way to die. At least there won't be a broken body to scare the girls. The end. Feng Yi looked at a person very curiously, little lowly Miss Going Zhou. From the beginning of the battle, she did not participate in the battle. Even Mr. 3 joined the battle when she saw Nami's ability not to use rain. There was no battle from the beginning, but kept looking at Feng Yi. Little lowly, come here. From the very beginning, Feng Yi knew that little lowly had been looking at him, which made him very puzzled, and then he waved to little lowly. Call. As soon as Feng Yi's words fell, little lowly's figure formed a phantom, and suddenly appeared in front of Feng Yi. The speed was also very fast, and a pair of big eyes looked at Feng Yi curiously. Little lowly, why are you looking at me all the time? Feng Yi asked curiously at little lowly. He found that he couldn't sense the emotional fluctuations in little lowly. This is very abnormal. In addition to the powerhouses stronger than Feng Yi, only the comatose Feng Yi could not perceive his emotional fluctuations, but the little lowly in front of him clearly did not pass out. Feng Yi could not sense her emotional fluctuations. To say that little Lolita is stronger than Feng Yi, she wouldn't believe it if she killed Feng Yi. Big brother has the same ability as me. Hearing Feng Yi's question, little Loli spoke up. Her voice was very pleasant, and the expression on little Loli's face was also innocent. Seeing that Feng Yi really wanted to squeeze two hands on that cute face. But Feng Yi still held back, because he also wanted to know one thing right now. Little Lolita, have you ever eaten a devil fruit? What's the power of your devil fruit? Yes, I've eaten devil fruit. It seems to be called emotional fruit. Hearing Feng Yi's question, little Loli couldn't help Vivi Isho, and then said happily to Feng Yi. As the word emotional fruit, Feng Yi couldn't help but be slightly shocked when he heard the words. It was a word different from his fruit. Listening to the name and the ability of the little Loli, Feng Yi knows the ability of the word emotion fruit. It is to strengthen the enemy's emotion by drawing a word representing emotion on the enemy, but I don't know if it can weaken the emotion. It really is a branch fruit of the emotional fruit. Feng Yi couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Just like the ability of the light and fluttering fruit is the branch fruit of the fluttering fruit, it only has part of the ability of the emotional fruit. That little Loli, how about following me in the future? Join our Maple Leaf Pirates. Then Feng Yi asked the little Loli. Seeing that the little Loli was so cute, Feng Yi wanted to recruit the little Lolita on the pirate ship. Now that she learned about the little Loli's fruit ability, she didn't miss it. Makes sense. It's also very good to have a Loli to develop. Looking at the delicate body of the little Loli, Feng Yi couldn't help but think of evil in his heart. Seeing the little Loli's chest bulging slightly, that pair of small steamed buns seems to be developing well. Stop. Feng Yi found that he was getting more and more evil, and couldn't help but sweat. Never imagine that there is no hair under the little Loli. Stop. Little Loli Miss Going Joe looked at Feng Yi with her twinkling pupils looking at her, and Vivi couldn't help but stunned. She could feel the aura on Feng Yi's body that made her feel intimacy, and when she heard Feng Yi's words, she didn't expect anything, nodded blankly. She has only joined Baroque Works for less than a week, and she has no sense of belonging to Baroque Works. Haha, that's good. Wait for me here, wait for me to solve them first. Feng Yue couldn't help but haha Isha when he heard the words. He didn't expect that. He just asked the little Loli and agreed. Saw that Crocodile was fighting with his body of anger, and he couldn't tell the outcome for a while. It should be said that Crocodile was completely entangled by his body of anger, and he couldn't leave even if he wanted to get out. Anger, the body is directly elementalized and the crocodile is shrouded in it. The two balls of sand are constantly entangled, and it is impossible to see who is stronger. Then Feng Yi looked to the side of Robin. From the beginning to the present, Robin did not take action, but was observing the battle of everyone. When Feng Yi stopped, she also observed Feng Yi for a while. When Feng Yi turned his head, Robin's beautiful pupils stared straight at him. Robin was not embarrassed at all when Feng Yi bumped into him, but instead nodded to Feng Yi Vivi. The expression on her face can't tell if she is planning not to make a move, or she is observing the weaknesses of the members of the Maple Leaf Pirates and waiting for an opportunity to make a move. However, Robin's expression could not be seen, but Feng Yi felt that Robin had no intention of taking action, because Robin is now shaking the strength of the Maple Leaf Pirates in his heart, and every member is so powerful. Seeing Robin nodding to his Vivi, Feng Yi's mouth couldn't help Vivi's twitching, and his confident look obviously told Robin, just wait and join our pirate group. Then Feng Yi ignored Robin. If he wanted to recruit Robin, killing Crocodile first was the most important thing. Looking at Crocodile again, the killing intent in Feng Yi's eyes has been unabashedly released, and the haki on his body is also pressing up. Haki's coercion from Feng Yi, the chaotic crocodile and the yellow sand incarnated by the body of anger are all Vivi's meal. Not good. Damn. Chapter 165-Trample to Death. Sensed Feng Yi's haki and murderous intent, Crocodile was shocked and angry, and he has been fighting with the body of anger. He has already experienced Feng Yi's power, and now it is even more radiant than when he was fighting with him at the beginning. With a strong aura, Crocodile immediately knew that Feng Yi didn't use all his abilities at the beginning. How can I not be shocked and angry? Sand Crocodile, die obediently. Facing Crocodile, haha Isho, Feng Yi swung his knife and charged towards Crocodile. Kai. Bloodthirsty Fang Haki Slash. After coming to the two groups of mad sands of different colors, Feng Yi did not hesitate at all. The rain in his hand slashed out fiercely, a bloodthirsty fang slash mixed with Feng Yi Conqueror Haki, and the sound was slashed out from Yulu's blade, and slashed towards the two entangled mad sands. Feng Yi doesn't care if the body of anger is still there, just cut it together, and while the body of anger is still entangled in Crocodile, he can't escape. Anyway, it's almost time for the body of anger to dissipate. With Feng Yi's slashing out, Crocodile felt a throbbing inexplicably, and the mad sand incarnate couldn't help but surging. He wanted to escape, but was entangled by the mad sand incarnated by the body of anger, and he couldn't get out at all. HMPH, even if you realize that my attack this time can hurt you, the elementalized one, you still can't dodge. Seeing the craziness of Crocodile's incarnation, Feng Yi couldn't help but snorted. Crocodile used elementalization to evade some of his attacks before, but this time, he was scared because of elementalization. Obviously, he also knew that Feng Yi fused Haki into his slash. Damn, you actually used Haki to such a high level. How is this possible? Crocodile's heart didn't say how shocked he was. He also knew that Haki could hurt the elemental Logia fruit ability, but he didn't know it. I don't care much, he can also Haki, which is enough to resist, but Feng Yi can actually fuse Haki into the sword energy. This is not that he can resist and resist, if he is hit, he will definitely be injured. Chi chi chi. In panic, the mad sand incarnated by Crocodile could not help surging frantically, madly trying to escape from Feng Yi's slash. Chi chi. However, there is still time. After Feng Yi's blood-colored fangs cut a bloodstain in the air, it slashed on the two tangled mad sand, and instantly cut the two strands of mad sand on both sides together. Chi chi. As Feng Yi's slash fell, Crocodile's body of anger dissipated immediately, and the pink mad sand first dissipated in the air. Ah! As for Crocodile, it was also a scream, and could no longer maintain elementalization, and fell to the ground with a bang, and there was blood on his chest. Crocodile is injured. Robin, who had been watching Feng Yi fighting, saw that Crocodile was actually cut by Feng Yi under the condition of elementalization. Vivi couldn't help being shocked, and a flash of excitement flashed in his eyes. This Feng Yi is really strong enough. Ha ha, Sand Crocodile, this is your cemetery today. Seeing Crocodile injured, Feng Yi couldn't help but ha ha isho. Kai. He spoke, Feng Yi rushed towards Crocodile, and the sharp sword chi on the Yulu blade in his hand became suspicious again. Similarly, this time Feng Yi didn't keep his hands, and Conqueror Haki mixed into the sword energy. Originally it was just a pale white sword energy, but after Haki was injected, a hint of pale gold appeared. Originally, Haki had no color, but after merging with the sword energy, it turned into pale gold. It looks so dazzling. Crazy sand photography. As soon as Crocodile was in front of him, Feng Yi showed off his mad sand photography, and the mad sand suddenly circled around him, covering Crocodile inside. Damn! Seeing Feng Yi's sword move, Crocodile couldn't help but scolded. He knew before that Feng Yi's sword move could actually pull his elementalized mad sand, which was equivalent to restraining his sand ability. Especially now, after Haki was combined with Quangsha photography, he found that he was in his most proud Quangsha and could not be elementalized. As a Quangsha fruit person, he was forced by Quangsha. Can't be elementalized, this is really the biggest blow to Crocodile in his life. Eros Samsara. Frightened, Crocodile immediately displayed his strongest move, using both palms together. Boom. However, in the mad sand surrounded by Haki, Crocodile's strongest move is only to dissipate all the mad sand around him and shake it away, and it can't hurt Feng Yi at all. Destroy the world. Seeing that Crocodile was still struggling, Feng Yi couldn't help being cold, and the rain in his hand showed a move to slay the sky and destroy the earth. It was a sword move created by Feng Yi after integrating the sword energy Haki. I saw that after Feng Yi's words fell, in an instant, the mad sand formed by Feng Yi's mad sand photography was completely shaken apart in an instant, and the figures of Feng Yi and Crocodile were clearly presented. Then. Yep. Feng Yi and Crocodile seemed to have entered an unfamiliar world, a world like the end of the world. The earth is full of deep pits and cracks, and the sky is constantly swept away by thunder and lightning. The whole world is only black and thunder and lightning. The color of the sun has long since disappeared. In the Sword Realm, Feng Yi's slaying the sky and destroying the earth has also entered the realm of the Dao Sword Realm, just like Eagle Eye's Sword Realm Haya. Seeing this scene, Robin and the other parties in the battle couldn't help but stop the battle in shock and looked at the Sword Realm released by Feng Yi with his mouth open. How can this be possible? Looking at the Sword Realm released by Feng Yi, Crocodile couldn't help but look horrified. He was not afraid of ordinary sword realms. However, at this time, Feng Yi's Sword Realm is completely different from what he faced before. In this Sword Realm, he found that it was the same as before, and he still couldn't make his body elemental. Crocodile knew in an instant that Feng Yi's Sword Realm was clearly a Sword Realm displayed by the fusion of Haki. Completely different from what he faced before. Crocodile didn't take the Sword Realm seriously before, so he didn't bother to train Haki at all. Although he can Haki, but he has not strengthened it, how can he compete this time? In his cognition, Haki is nothing more than a little die. Looking at the shocked Crocodile, Feng Yi couldn't help but proudly issue. His figure disappeared in an instant, and the entire Sword Realm disappeared in an instant, as if the whole world had really been wiped out and disappeared. Then Feng Yi's figure came behind Crocodile. Puff! A terrifying blood column sprayed out from Crocodile's body at this time. Crocodile's eyes widened, and he fell on his back. Chapter 166 _ to death continued. Boom! Wow! The body slammed to the ground. Crocodile spit out blood again. The expression on his face was extremely painful, and he struggled to get up and couldn't do it. Damn! I still have lofty ideals unfinished. I can't die. Feeling that his life was passing, Crocodile was full of unwillingness, but all the functions of his body had been cut off by Feng Yi, and he couldn't move if he wanted to. Hey, Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai, isn't that great? Crocodile who was about to die, Feng Yi couldn't help issue, but Feng Yi's face was also extremely pale at this time. The move just now had the Sword Realm to slay the sky and destroy the earth, but it consumed the energy in his body with Haki. It's empty. At this time, Feng Yi realized how powerful Eagle Eye is, and his expression did not change at all after performing the move with the Sword Realm. Looking at Feng Yi, who looked at him with contempt, Crocodile opened his mouth to say something, but he couldn't say a word, and looked at Feng Yi with resentment in his eyes. It's because you underestimate me too much. Otherwise, it would not be easy for me to kill you. Feng Yi looked at Crocodile without fear, but darkly, and then said to Crocodile issue. That's right, Crocodile will die in Feng Yi's hands. The main reason is that he underestimated Feng Yi, so he was caught off guard after Feng Yi's sudden outbreak. As long as Crocodile stabilizes his mind, he can still transform his body into elements. Although he will inevitably be cut by Feng Yi, at least he will not be cut to death with a single strike. Also, Crocodile underestimated Haki and disdained to exercise Haki, otherwise it would be hard to tell the outcome. Without saying anything, Feng Yi raised his foot high, and Haki didn't have any suspicion to gather on it, so he just stepped on Crocodile's chest with the strength of his body. No. This time Crocodile finally made a frightened voice full of begging. He could be killed, but if he was trampled to death, he couldn't accept it even if he died. Click. Puff. However, Feng Yi didn't care so much about him. In the eyes of everyone's shocked eyes, he trampled Crocodile to death. Heart sunken, eyes bulging, eyes full of humiliation to die. Seeing that Crocodile was so unwilling to die at Feng Yi's feet, the two sides who were still fighting stopped their movements involuntarily, and all opened their mouths in surprise. Robin saw Crocodile die, her lips were open, and her expression was stunned. She didn't expect Feng Yi to use her foot to trample Crocodile to death. While shocked in her heart, Robin couldn't help but feel fortunate. Fortunately, she did not choose to fight against Feng Yi, and did not stand on Feng Yi's opposite position. I won't be able to join them now. Robin then secretly whispered in Vivi's heart. He also remembered what kind of pirate group the Maple Leaf Pirates were, and what kind of people the rumors of Feng Yi were, and couldn't help but think. Shout out. I thought to myself that every time I changed a faction, I would try my best to keep my body. I don't know if I can be so lucky this time. Swish. When the last breath of crocodile dissipated, the corpse that was covered in blood began to slowly turn into sand and dissipated. As a person with elemental fruit ability, it will become this natural element after death, and there will be no bones left. This is the sorrow of the Logia fruit power. Humph. Feng Yi saw that crocodile was really dead. Instead of being elemental, he couldn't help but snorted, and then turned to look at the others in Baroque works. Give you 10 seconds. Get out. Looking at crocodile's remaining subordinates, Feng Yi said lightly in a voice full of hockey and dominance. Ah. Hearing Feng Yi's words full of hockey, Mr. 3 and the others couldn't help but freak out. Seeing crocodile dead, they didn't mean to avenge crocodile. Joke, crocodile, one of Shichibukai, is not an opponent. How could they be opponent? It's strange if you don't run. Let's go. Mr. Point 3 murmured first, then turned around quickly and left. Not even his partner Miss Going Joe called. And seeing Mr. Point 3 leave, the others didn't care so much, except for those who were killed. They all fled away. Only Robin stood still and did not leave. Little lowly Going Joe agreed to join the Maple Leaf Pirates, and of course she did not leave. Hey. Seeing Miss Valentine's Day and planning to leave, Feng Yi couldn't help but chuckle. With a flash, he was standing in front of her. You, what are you doing? Seeing Feng Yi stop her, Miss Valentine hurriedly exclaimed and looked at Feng Yi vigilantly. There was no intention of daring to fight against Feng Yi. A joke, crocodile was killed, whereas she's still an opponent, and she didn't even dare to think of fighting against Feng Yi. The others saw that Feng Yi stopped Miss Valentine's Day, and it was just Vivi's meal, so they didn't stop there. They quickly walked away and left. As soon as 10 seconds passed, if Feng Yi didn't plan to let them go, it would be over. Miss lover, it's okay to block it. Result, Mr. 3 and the others ran even more. In an instant, he disappeared from everyone's sight. Nothing, I just want to invite you to join our Maple Leaf Pirates. How, are you interested? Seeing the flustered Miss Valentine's Day, Feng Yi couldn't help laughing lightly, and then spoke to her indifferently. Ah. Hearing that Feng Yi originally wanted to recruit her into the Maple Leaf Pirates, Miss Valentine immediately exclaimed and blushed. Even she knew Feng Yi's reputation. Why did you recruit her into the Maple Leaf Pirates? He clearly wanted to possess her. Although she was extremely ashamed and angry, Feng Yi looked like she was just asking casually, but Miss Valentine didn't dare to say refusal. What's your name? Then Feng Yi curiously asked Miss Valentine's Day. Besides knowing her code name, she didn't know her name yet. To recruit the other party's pirate group, of course, you must know the other party's name. T-Speen. Hearing Feng Yi's question, Miss Valentine's Day could only answer. She didn't dare to disobey Feng Yi at all. Tis Penny. Nice name. As beautiful as you are. Feng Yi couldn't help Vivi-isho hearing this. How, are you interested in joining our Maple Leaf Pirates? Then Feng Yi asked indifferently to Dispenny again, and the rain and dew in his hand slowly retracted into the scabbard at the same time. Quote. Do I have to say no? Chapter 167 reluctant to join. Dispenny was helpless, and could only respond with a slight humiliation. Hey, good. Don't worry, join the Maple Leaf Pirates. I will never treat you badly. Feng Yi was immediately happy when he heard this. Isho. Vivi smiled bitterly upon hearing this, and she would rather Feng Yi treat her badly, so that she would not have to be invaded by the legendary satyr captain. After Feng Yi finished speaking, he ignored Dispenny, and turned to Robin. The most important purpose of coming to Alabasta this time was Robin. Dispenny was only recruited by the way. Dispenny didn't dare to run anymore. She could only follow behind Feng Yi, feeling down, thinking that she didn't know what would happen in the future. I didn't expect you to actually kill him. When Feng Yi came to Robin, Robin couldn't help but smiled at Feng Yi Vivi. Feng Yi wanted her to join the Maple Leaf Pirates, and she couldn't refuse, so of course she took the initiative. Then what's your answer? Feng Yi smiled back when he heard that. Aren't you afraid of my identity as the devil's son? Robin, who was originally smiling, calmed down after hearing Feng Yi's words, and asked Feng Yi seriously. She wanted to know why Feng Yi dared to take her in after knowing her identity. She is the rumored child of the devil. Humph, you forgot who I am. I'm a pirate. Pirates represent evil. If a devil's son dares not accept it, can he still be called a pirate? Hearing Robin's question, Feng Yi couldn't help but hum disdainfully, and then said lightly. Robin couldn't help but be stunned when he heard the words, yes, do you still need to ask such a simple question? But before no pirate group dared to actually take her in, and no pirate group wanted to confront the world government because of Robin's relationship. In the past, as soon as her identity was discovered, she would be chased by Marine frantically, and many of the pirate groups she joined would betray her for safety. Aren't you afraid of being hunted by Marine for recruiting me? Robin continued to murmur suspiciously. I won't be a pirate if I'm afraid of Marine. Feng Yi heard the words and said with disdain for Isho again. I'll join you. Hearing Feng Yi's words, Robin froze again, and then said softly. Looking at Feng Yi, who didn't care about Marine at all, a faint sense of security surged in her heart for some reason. With such a captain, maybe she can be safer. Ha ha, good. No matter who wants to hurt you in the future, I will kill them one by one. Even if Marine Admiral comes, I will protect you. Robin, you can rest assured to join our Maple Leaf Pirates. Quote. Hearing Robin's words, the purpose of the trip was achieved. Feng Yi immediately laughed Isho, and said to Robin in a serious tone, not joking or talking big at all. Hearing Feng Yi's words, Robin felt her heart tremble. She looked at Feng Yi in surprise, with ripples in her heart. She didn't know if she should believe what Feng Yi said, but Feng Yi said at this time. This sentence brought her a touch of emotion. If Feng Yi can really do what he said, it would be great to join the Maple Leaf Pirates. Then Feng Yi took Robin and the others back to the city and let all the girls know each other. Robin becomes an archaeologist for the Maple Leaf Pirates. Lola becomes the bartender of the Maple Leaf Pirates. Little lowly Miss Going Joe became a little painter on the boat. And Feng Yi also knew the name of Xiao Loli, Xiao Ai. She doesn't even know her real name, she only knows that others call her Xiao Ai. And Dispenny, who became the pilot on the ship. Well, other than this Feng Yi, I don't know what to do with her, except for playing, that's her strength. Being able to fly with other people is a good ability. In the next week, Feng Yi took Nami and the others to relieve the drought in various cities in Alabasta. They didn't have to worry about it in the future. Crocodile died and the climate in Alabasta returned to normal. Then Feng Yi took them back to the palace. Princess Vivi told the king the truth. The king was shocked and thanked Feng Yi and them sincerely. When Feng Yi took the girls to board the Blood Dragon again, it started to rain in Alabasta. It was no longer Nami's artificial rain, but it was raining naturally. After boarded the Blood Dragon, Robin and the others were of course amazed again. They didn't expect the Blood Dragon to be so luxurious. This trip to Alabasta, the Maple Leaf Pirates not only recruited 5 new members, Robin, Lola, Dispenny, Xiao Ai and Princess Vivi, but also got 1.3 billion Bailey, yes, 13 billionaire. Whereas Nami with 200 million Baileys, Feng Yi 400 million won Baileys with Robin, a total of 600 million Baileys. After Crocodile was killed, when Robin went back to get Baileys back, he took Crocodile's nest by the way. It was also delivered, so the total harvest was as much as 1.3 billion Baileys. The most excited is of course Nami. I never thought that I could earn so much Bailey by logging in once. On the second day that the Blood Dragon went to sea, the new reward list finally fell on the Blood Dragon. Crocodile, one of the Shichibukai, was killed. Feng Yi's name can be said to have completely caused a sensation on the entire Great Sea route, and Feng Yi's bounty rose directly to 150 million Bailey. A very scary bounty. Nami and the others didn't raise the bounty, they just added a few more bounty members. Princess Vivi, 100 W Bailey's bounty. Alabasta, defected princess. Xiao Ai, the 500 W Bailey bounty, the person who has the ability of emotional fruit. Lola, 1200 W Bailey's bounty, the same as Nojiko's bounty, the thorn fruit ability. Dispenny, the 800 W Bailey bounty, the person with the fluttering fruit ability. Nick Robin, 7900 W Bailey bounty, flower fruit ability. The bounty of the entire Maple Leaf Pirates has exceeded 400 million Bailey. Very terrifying. In the first half of the Great Voyage Road, it is definitely the pirate group with the highest bounty. Hockey for Robin, Lola, and Dispenny. Little Loli and Princess Vivi have not yet met the requirements for awakening hockey. Both Lola and Dispenny awakened armament hockey. Like Yu Xin, Robin awakened observation hockey. The entire Maple Leaf Pirates now has 2 members who have observation hockey. Feng Yi, why don't you want to know the whereabouts of the ancient weapon Hades? In the study, only Robin and Feng Yi were there. Robin asked Feng Yi curiously. When he returned to the palace, Feng Yi led Robin into the forbidden area where the whereabouts of Hades were engraved. The main reason for Robin to come to Alabasta was to know if there was any historical record there. Of course, Yi will bring her here, otherwise, I believe that even if he joins the Maple Leaf Pirates, Robin will come back to find a way to go in and see, and I don't know if he will return to the Maple Leaf Pirates. Hey, because I know that even if I ask, you won't tell me. Feng Yi couldn't help but gently issue when he heard this. Robin told him that it was not the historical text, but the whereabouts of the ancient weapon Hades. Chapter 168-Strong Treatment. Then Robin didn't take the initiative to say, and of course Feng Yi didn't ask. Feng Yi, who could clearly perceive Robin's emotional changes, of course knew that Robin was really testing him, although he didn't know what Robin was testing. Since it's Robin that you don't want to say, of course I won't make you embarrassed. Feng Yi then said again. Then why did you come here? Robin couldn't help but stunned for a moment, then looked at Feng Yedao suspiciously. Feng Yi came into the study. She thought that Feng Yi couldn't help but ask him about the whereabouts of Hades, so she asked back, who knows no. Awakening observation hockey. Although Robin can perceive the inner thoughts of the others on the ship, he cannot perceive Feng Yi's inner thoughts, so of course Robin cannot know Feng Yi's thoughts. Hey, of course I'm here to find you to cultivate feelings. Feng Yi heard the words, he immediately said Isho. Ah. What do you want? Hearing Feng Yi's words, Robin couldn't help but let out a sigh, and then said to Feng Yi angrily, could it be that Feng Yi, a pervert, wants to use force even against his own crew? Don't worry, I just want to chat with you, not to eat you. Seeing Robin's appearance, Feng Yi couldn't help but sigh, it's all to blame for those damn rumors, his current image has become a big pervert. Oh. When Robin heard the words, he couldn't help but let out a soft sigh, and his pretty face was slightly red. It turned out that he was thinking crooked. Why do you all think of me as a big pervert? Looks like I haven't molested you, Robin, right? Feng Yi then said depressedly to Robin. Humph, of course. Hearing the words, Robin snorted softly, but still looked at Feng Yi with a vigilant look, afraid that Feng Yi would suddenly make a move. I know how you treat Lola and sister Yu Xin. Robin then laughed. Within a week, Robin had a good relationship with everyone on the ship. No, they actually told you all that. Feng Yi couldn't help but feel depressed when he heard the words. No wonder Robin is like an anti-color wolf every time he faces him. Seeing Feng Yi slumped and depressed, Robin couldn't help Vivi Isho in his heart, but of course he didn't dare to show it on his face. Okay, you actually think of me as a pervert, then I'm a pervert. Feeling the smile in Robin's heart, Feng Yi couldn't help but snorted, dare to see me laugh at me, then I'll show you a pervert. What do you want to do? Hearing this, Robin's heart suddenly jumped. He didn't know it well. Feng Yi admitted that he was a pervert, which means he would be a pervert to her. "I'm hungry, I'm going to get Maggie something to eat," then Robin said immediately, and turned around and wanted to leave. Feng Yi saw that Robin already had the same heart as guarding against perverts for him, and it was not easy to conquer his heart, so what are you waiting for? Feng Yi knew that it was not easy to win Robin's heart, and Robin's experience made him it's hard to fall in love with a man, and he's wary of anyone, so just use force. Since conquering the heart is not enough, let's conquer her body first. This is Feng Yi's consistent rule of thumb for the beauties he likes. As soon as Robin passed Feng Yi quickly grabbed Robin's jade hand. Ah! Unable to resist Robin, Feng Yi pulled Robin into his arms vigorously. Robin couldn't help but exclaimed, and then found himself being held in Feng Yi's arms. Feng Xin couldn't help being ashamed. "Just find me when you're hungry, and I'll feed you, Robin." Then Feng Yi Xiaomei's light laughter sounded in Robin's ears, and Robin couldn't help but feel more ashamed and angry when she heard that. She didn't want Feng Yi to be fed. "No, I don't need you to feed me," Robin immediately said angrily, struggling to push Feng Yi away. "How can this be possible? I am the captain, you are my crew, there is no reason for the captain to make the crew hungry." Feng Yi couldn't help laughing when he heard this, and said such a shameless reason. A hand moved down slowly, already stroking Robin's sweet buttocks. "Ah!" Hearing Feng Yi's words, coupled with the feeling of embarrassment from the sweet buttocks, Robin couldn't help but let out a coquettish cry again, staring at Feng Yi angrily. Never seen such a shameless captain. It's like saying that it's obligatory to start with your own crew. Seeing Robin's usually calm and stunning face, now full of panic, shame and anger, Feng Yi only felt a shock in his heart, ignoring the shame and anger in Robin's eyes, and lowered his head to print on Robin's tender lips. In an instant, Robin's eyes widened, and she wanted to turn her head away, but Feng Yi's speed was too fast. As soon as she reacted, she felt a warm touch spread from her lips. "Woo!" Robin originally wanted to exclaim out of conditioned reflex, but Feng Yi took the opportunity to enter. His tongue slipped into her tender lips, and greedily sucked her fragrant tongue and body fluid. For a time, Robin couldn't help being stunned there, letting Feng Yi greedily occupy her small mouth, leaving her head blank, but her first kiss was gone. Although she was mentally prepared to join the Maple Leaf Pirates, it will be captured by Feng Yi, but it really happened, and Robin is still at a loss. Asshole! Go to hell! It wasn't until Feng Yi took off her jeans that her sweet buttocks cooled, and Robin didn't realize it. She pushed Feng Yi away in shame and anger, and then cursed coquettishly. 100 flowers bloom. At the same time, Robin didn't bother to lift his trousers, and immediately used the ability of Wawa fruit. He lost his mind in shame and anger, and wanted to kill Feng Yi. One after another, the petals flew up, and dozens of jade hands appeared on Feng Yi's body immediately, all attacking Feng Yi. "Hey!" Seeing this, Feng Yi just sneered, completely ignoring the jade hands on his body, and staring at the pair of slender and beautiful legs under Robin. Although there is still a small inner there, but the black forest between the sleek legs, it's still vaguely visible. Feng Yi can't wait to pull down the small inner strip right away, and take a look at the small black forest. Kai! Although he didn't care about Robin's attack, Feng Yi still released the haki in his body. Conqueror haki was completely gathered on the surface of his body. In just a split second, all the jade hands on his body turned into petals and dissipated. Ah! Seeing that his attack was completely ineffective, Robin then remembered that he was not Feng Yi's opponent at all, and immediately had no idea of killing Feng Yi. It was better to slip away, although it was impossible to leave the Maple Leaf Pirates at Sichuan, but as long as you go outside, I believe that Feng Yi will not dare to continue to use force against her. In the future, just be on guard and don't face Feng Yi alone. Chapter 169 _ It's useless. How does Robin know that Feng Yi doesn't care if there are other people on the boat? If she knew that Feng Yi dared to act as a man or woman wherever he was on the boat, she would not be lucky enough to stay with the Maple Leaf Pirates. But even if Robin knew it, it was too late. Boom! As soon as Robin moved, Feng Yi's figure appeared at the door of the study, and he closed the door at once. "Hey, Robin, you're not going to run out like this." Feng Yi blocked the door and looked at Robin and laughed. As soon as Feng Yi said, Robin realized that she was wearing only a small robe underneath, and her pretty face suddenly turned red, but Robin didn't care. She was not afraid of being seen by her friends outside. Anyway, there was no man, and now the important thing is to get out of the study. "Feng Yi, don't be so shameless, or you will regret it." Then Robin glared at Feng Yi and threatened coldly. "Hee hee, then I'll see how you can make me regret." Robin. Feng Yi heard that not only did he not mean to let Robin leave, but he shamelessly hee-hee-isho. Hearing this, Robin was speechless again and realized Feng Yi's shamelessness. "Help me." In the end, Robin could only shout out to the outside. "Help me." Robin's coquettish cries soon echoed through the entire pirate ship from the study, and of course Nami and the others heard them all. "Sister Yushin, what's wrong with Robin? Is she in danger?" Nami quickly asked Yushin. Yushin has observation hockey and can clearly know the psychological words of the people on board. As long as she knows Robin by perception, what's in danger? "Hee hee, it's okay. Robin is staying with Captain Feng Yi, we don't care." Yushin couldn't help but gently isho when she heard the words, and then said to Nami and the others. Hearing Yushin's words, the worries on the women's faces disappeared immediately, and what was replaced was the expression on their faces as expected. It's clear why Robin called for help. Pretty face can't help Vivi's read. That, we really don't have to go see Sister Robin. Princess Vivi didn't know why, so she couldn't help but timidly ask the girls. "You should go to Vivi, but don't blame us for not reminding you when you ran out blushing." Hearing Princess Vivi's words, Nami couldn't help but laugh at her. Ah! Princess Vivi herself is not stupid. As soon as she heard the meaning in Nami's words, she knew what Robin and Feng Yi were doing at this time. She couldn't help exclaiming, her pretty face flushed red. In addition to being strong and handsome, this Captain Feng Yi is really a big pervert with a sideways head. He's necrotic, Princess Vivi scolded at the same time. Then he hurriedly went about his own business, ignoring Robin's shouting. And Robin, who was in the study at this time, felt the thoughts of the girls after shouting, and was speechless for a while. The depression in his heart can be imagined. He originally wanted Nami and the others to rescue her, but they did not expect them. Get lucky. Ha ha. Come on, it's useless even if you break your throat. Seeing Robin's expression, Feng Yi couldn't help but laughed out loud. Then he walked up to Robin. Damn, you were brought over. Seeing this, Robin immediately said angrily, whether it was Feng Yi's opponent or not, she could only attack. 72 reincarnations bloom. The petals fluttered, and Robin couldn't help but attack Feng Yi again. Your attack is useless to me at all. Seeing this, Feng Yi was just gently isho, and he didn't care about the splendid hands attacking all over his body. He dodged and got close to Robin. After the jade hand touched Feng Yi, it all turned into petals and dissipated. Ah! Robin didn't even have time to react. The whole body was pressed against the bookshelf by Feng Yi, and the books fell from the bookshelf. Woo! Before Robin could resist, Feng Yi kissed Robin's delicate lips again, greedily sucking the body fluid and tongue from Robin's mouth, and his hands were also on Robin's pair of proud and tall jade girl peaks. Kneading on it, the amazing elasticity and softness made Feng Yi feel ecstasy even with an extra bra. Woo! Robin's beautiful pupils were wide open, glaring at Feng Yi. What he wanted to scold, but he could only keep making snorts, which stimulated Feng Yi's hearing more and more. It made Feng Yi feel even more that the blood in Dao's body was boiling. Robin, one of his favorite heroines, he is now forcibly assaulting Robin. Thinking of this Feng Yi is like eating Viagra, he is so excited, incredible. Bang bang bang. Robin struggled constantly, and the books on the bookshelves on both sides of the struggle kept falling. In less than a moment, the ground was full of books. Ah! Robin was unable to stand still when he struggled and retreated, and with an exclamation, he fell down on the books all over the floor. Of course Feng Yi also took advantage of the situation and ripped Robin's body, and when he tore it off, the small inner strip under Robin was torn apart by Feng Yi at once, and the blackness between his legs immediately appeared in front of Feng Yi's eyes. "Don't!" Robin exclaimed in surprise. The ability of Wawa fruit was displayed, and countless jade hands grew out of him, and countless jade hands were going to push Feng Yi away. Humph. However, under Feng Yi's conqueror haki, Robin's jade hands could only be turned into petals and dissipated. Before Robin couldn't react, Feng Yi's hands pressed Robin's hands and closed his legs. Also, he pressed Robin's delicate body on the book, so that Robin could not struggle at all, and the ability of Wawa fruit was useless. "Asshole, let me go. Otherwise I will definitely make you regret it." Robin couldn't struggle, he could only glared at Feng Yejiao and cursed. The heartbeat was beating rapidly because of fear, and the jade girl peak on the chest was constantly ups and downs, a turbulent wave. Gollum. Seeing the ups and downs of Robin's chest, Feng Yi couldn't help swallowing, watching Robin's uncontrollable issue. "Hey, I said it, let me see how you made me regret it afterwards. Anyway, I don't know after the fact. If I don't eat you now, I will definitely regret it for the rest of my life." Ha ha. Feng Yi laughed wickedly while opening his mouth to bite Robin's jade girl peak. Although the clothes didn't fall off, Feng Yi still bit the cherry on top at once. Ah! Robin was instantly numb as if struck by lightning. He let out a coquettish cry, his face flushed with blush, and Feng Yi actually bit her shy part with his mouth. Hiss. Chapter 170-Robin got it. After sucking greedily for a while, Feng Yi felt that Robin's clothes were getting in the way. He directly bit the corner of Robin's clothes with his mouth and pulled hard, and Robin's clothes were shattered. Crack, a spring will show immediately. Pain. In the study, the sound of Robin's first pain was heard for a while. Faced with the first pain, Robin couldn't hold back, especially when a guy as big as Feng Yi forced his way in. The pain caused by it was imaginable. And no. The other girls on the boat heard that they were all Vivi Isho, they had another sister, and then they continued to work on their own affairs. "Sister Robin is screaming pain, don't we have to go and see it?" Little Loli, Xiao Ai, doesn't understand things between men and women, but she asked suspiciously. As she said that, little Loli involuntarily walked in the direction of the study. "No, shall I come back soon?" Princess Vivi quickly stopped Xiaoluoli when she saw this, and stepped forward to rot her down. How can the things inside be seen by children? Oh, little Loli snorted, looking curiously in the direction of the study. Princess Vivi said she wouldn't come forward without her. Ah. It hurts, slow down. It hurts. However, as soon as little Loli's voice fell, Robin's screams of pain could be heard in the study room again. Hearing that, Princess Vivi's pretty face turned even redder, and she quickly covered little Loli's ears. "Sister Vivi, is Sister Robin screaming in pain? Do you really need to go in and have a look?" Little Loli just heard Robin's cry again, and she couldn't help but ask Princess Vivi again suspiciously. "And Sister Vivi, why is your face so red?" At the end, the little Loli asked Princess Vivi again. "No need, let's go to the deck and play." Princess Vivi's pretty face became even redder when she heard the words, and after hurriedly said something, she picked up the little Loli and went to the deck. A heart is beating constantly. Today, Robin can be sealed by Yi Chang, but what about tomorrow? Even if it is not tomorrow, after the day after tomorrow, will she be forcibly possessed by Feng Yi like this? When she thought of this, Princess Vivi was embarrassed, but she was helpless. She knew that there would be such a result and chose to join the pirates. Vivi, who had been mentally prepared for a long time, didn't know whether she was afraid or anticipating the woman who became Feng Yi. She thought that Feng Yi would never find her, and she expected Feng Yi to find her sooner. Anyway, it was complicated. Psychology. However, after knowing that it was Robin who was first approached by Feng Yi, she couldn't help but feel a little resentment in her heart. She was the one who joined the Maple Leaf Pirates first, but Feng Yi actually looked for Robin first. This feeling of being compared makes Princess Vivi a little uncomfortable. And Robin, who was in the study at this time, was already dripping with sweat under Feng Yi's expedition. At this time, Robin no longer screamed, biting his lower lip, not letting himself make a sound, accompanied by every time Feng Yi went in and out. The numb happy feeling made her cry out tenderly, thinking that she was forcibly occupied by Feng Yi. Robin was determined not to let herself cry out. Feng Yi saw Robin's appearance. He just thought, hey Isho. Under his conquest, there was almost no one who could not cry out. The more Robin looked like this, the more Feng Yi wanted to see her groan. Look. At the moment, Feng Yi's movements are speeding up, all kinds of skills are being done, his hands and mouth are not idle, and all kinds of tricks and skills are displayed on Robin's delicate body. Although Robin still didn't groan, Feng Yi gradually felt that the river below her was flooding more and more, and it was only a moment when she couldn't help but scream. Ah! Sure enough, after less than 5 minutes, Robin blushed under Feng Yi's strong attack, and finally couldn't help loosening his teeth, and let out a loud coquettish cry. And with the first sound, Robin couldn't help himself even if she wanted to stop. She only knew that Zhang Dajiao's lips were constantly shouting, and only in this way could she express the happiness that her delicate body was bearing at this time. All the girls on the Blood Dragon could only run to the deck when they heard this. Although it was no surprise, the cheerful roar of the waves would still make them unbearable. The first time he possessed Robin, Feng Yi didn't last long. When Robin reached his peak for the 3rd time, Feng Yi shot into Robin's body. 2 hours have passed. There were tears in the corners of Robin's eyes, but there was a satisfied smile on his mouth, and he fell asleep like that. After withdrawing from Robin's body, seeing the traces of his conquest left everywhere on the graceful and perfect body, Feng Yi felt proud and satisfied. From today, Robin will belong to his woman. Excited for a while, Feng Yi found that his dragon was full of anger again. Vivi Isho couldn't help but stop touching Robin. If you touch Robin again, don't even think about getting out of bed and walking around for the next week. Seeing Robin sleeping on the books, Feng Yi quickly bent down, hugged Robin's delicate body, opened the door of the study and walked towards Robin's room. Maggie, are you ready for dinner? I just exhausted myself and I'm hungry. While carrying Robin to her room, Feng Yi shouted in the direction of the kitchen. He knew that all the girls had appeared on the deck, and only Maggie was preparing food in the kitchen. Got it, badass big pervert. As soon as Feng Yi's voice fell, Maggie's laughter and scolding came from the kitchen. Okay, dare to scold me, Sister Maggie, wait and see how I punish you. Feng Yi heard that and pretended to be angry at Maggie. No, I'm busy, don't come in and make trouble. Maggie hurriedly yelled at Feng Yejiao when she heard this, and let Feng Yi into her kitchen. The kitchen must be a mess again. Every time she went in, Maggie would be fucked by Feng Yi can't cook well. After carrying Robin back to her room on the bed, Feng Yi kissed Robin's forehead before leaving Robin's room. In the next 2 days, of course, Feng Yi did not let go of the beautiful Princess Vivi. During the 2 days, Feng Yi found an opportunity to eat Princess Vivi too. There is also Xiao Luoli Xiaoai, although Feng Yi is too young to eat her, but in order to have no scruples on the beauty of the whole boat, Feng Yi also trained Xiao Luoli, except that he did not pierce that outside of the film. Little Loli is also a woman of Feng Yi, at least she has drank a lot of essence and liquid belonging to Feng Yi. Thinking of that tender little mouth service, Feng Yi can feel very happy. What Feng Yi and the others didn't know was that the world government had unanimously recognized the strong potential of the Maple Leaf Pirates, and had already asked Sengoku to send one of the 3 marine admirals to intercept the Maple Leaf Pirates. What's the matter? The sea is actually frozen. Ice block soon after going out to sea. Nami couldn't help but wonder, because in her perception, the weather shouldn't change like this. Chapter 171 Kuzan_. Nami, are these ice layers not formed by natural climate? Perceiving Nami's doubts, Feng Yi stepped forward and asked Nami indifferently. Vivi couldn't help but be surprised. If it wasn't for the natural climate, only one person could form the ice on the surface of this sea area, Kuzan, one of Marine's 3 admirals. If Kuzan really came, they would be in danger. Teru Kongmei now has a certain difficulty in defeating Admiral N. Master, according to the weather and climate I perceive, it shouldn't freeze here. Hearing Feng Yi's question, Nami immediately said to Feng Yi. Really? It seems that Kuzan, one of the 3 marine admirals, has come to us. Everyone, be careful. Feng Yi groaned lightly when he heard the words, and looked at the ice-covered sea in front of him vigilantly. Then Feng Yi let go of the emotional fruit's ability to perceive emotions. Sure enough, in the distance in front of the ice layer, Feng Yi sensed that a human emotion appeared there, and Feng Yi could only vaguely perceive the other party's emotion. The fluctuations are not obvious. Obviously he is a master. In addition to Kuzan, Feng Yi could not have imagined that there would be a strong person with such abilities there. What? Marine Admiral Kuzan? Hearing Feng Yi's words, the girls on the boat couldn't help exclaiming. Robin's body trembled when she heard the words on the bow on one side. Panic flashed in her eyes. She knew that Feng Yi would not lie, but she didn't expect Marine Admiral to come. She thought about it before. The Maple Leaf Pirates are so powerful, and she still feels panic when it really happened. In the past 2 days, Feng Yi did not touch Robin again, and Robin had been getting along with all the girls since he woke up, but he just ignored Feng Yi and kept hiding from Feng Yi. It's best to let Kuzan kill him, Robin said angrily, looking at Feng Yi's back. Hearing what Robin was saying, Yushin couldn't help but glance in Robin's direction, and a playful smile flashed in her eyes. She was not forcibly possessed by Feng Yi at the beginning. Although she is different from Robin, one is willing and the other is forced, but Yushin still feels that Robin does not have the kind of hatred for Feng Yi to kill the other party, and also in his heart say it. Sister Robin, are you happy when Feng Yi is dead? He said he will always protect you. Hearing Yushin's innermost thoughts, Robin's delicate body could not help but tremble again. The words Feng Yi said at the beginning did give her a great shock. Look, if he is really that powerful, I'll stay by his side in the future. Then looking at Feng Yi's back, Robin snorted in his heart. Don't be afraid to give Yushin the words in her heart. Nami, Rain. Knowing that it was Admiral Kuzan, Feng Yi also knew that there was no way to avoid him, so he called out to Nami next to him. Rain can dissolve all the fruit power, and ice can freeze all the water of I. All Feng Yi wants to know now is whether Nami's rain is more powerful, or Kuzan's frozen fruit is more powerful. I know the master. Nami responded immediately after hearing this, and then gave a coquettish shout. Clouds. Rain. After Nami Jiao drank, a cloud of mist flew up from Nami's delicate body, and then gathered in front of the blood dragon to form a cloud and mist, and finally rained down. Da 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 da. When countless rainwater dripped down, Feng Yi couldn't help but look towards the sea, but the result was disappointing. Before the rainwater could drip onto the ice, it was frozen into ice and turned into ice. Countless ice particles dripped on top of the ice. It doesn't seem to work. Nami is not as proficient in the use of fruit abilities. Nami has reached the level of mastery, and Kuzan has at least reached the level of subtlety. Feng Yi couldn't help but secretly said in his heart. Since Nami's ability can't restrain Kuzan's frozen fruit, then Feng Yi can only get on it alone. You guys are waiting here, I'm going to deal with that Marine Admiral. Then Feng Yi said to Nami and the others, then turned around and entered the ship, going into the cabin where the Phantom was parked. Nami, open the garage. At the same time, Feng Yi said to Nami, asking her to open the door to park the Phantom. He can drive the Phantom to set off. Master, I want to go with you. Hearing Feng Yi's words, Nami couldn't help shouting at Feng Yi. Yes. Feng Yi, let's go together. When Kuina and the others heard the words, they hurriedly said to Feng Yi. When they heard that it was Marine Admiral, they knew that the other party was very powerful. How could Feng Yi go alone? Everyone has a lot of strength and it's not that dangerous. No, this level of battle is not something you can touch for the time being. I don't want any of you to be in trouble. I'm driving the Phantom, and even if I can't beat him, I can still escape. If you're here, I'll be restrained instead. Now, If I'm not an opponent, everyone can't run away. Feng Yi hurriedly complained when he heard their words. Facing Admiral Kuzan, Feng Yi didn't dare to be careless. When he was talking, the hotki on Feng Yi couldn't help but burst out, and Nami and the others were not allowed to protest. I see. Seeing Feng Yi's appearance, Nami knew that Feng Yi would not let them go together, and couldn't help but murmured and nodded. Then Nami opened the door of the garage. Feng Yi's figure soon appeared on the car, and with the engine started, Feng Yi appeared on the ice outside the boat while driving the Phantom. Nami, you take everyone away from the other direction, everyone is meeting after I defeated Marine Admiral Kuzan. Looking at the girls on the boat who looked at him worriedly, Feng Yi couldn't help but say to Nami. When he left Alabasta, Feng Yi asked the king for a pair of phone bugs, so he could contact him at any time, and he didn't need to say where to turn again. I see, Master, be careful yourself. We'll wait for you, Nami said immediately after hearing the words. In fact, looking at Feng Yi, everyone knew that Feng Yi had no confidence in defeating Admiral Kuzan, so Feng Yi must have gone up. Watch him and let Nami and the others escape first. Feng Yi said that he could escape successfully, and they completely believed it, so they would let Feng Yi go alone. Kai. After talking to Nami, Feng Yi drove the Phantom with a chirp and drove quickly on the ice layer, and the speed went up to 500 miles. With just a glance, Feng Yi's figure was disappeared in the eyes of the girls. It was the first time that the girls who saw the Phantom reach such a speed could not help being stunned for a while. Nami and the others never knew that the Phantom could be so fast. This speed is too scary. This. Chapter 172-stunned. Robin and the other girls were stunned when they saw Feng Yi driving the Phantom for the first time. Master, he seems to have said that the Phantom's speed on land is much faster than that on the sea, but I didn't expect it to be so much faster. Nami couldn't help muttering. Only then did Robin and the others know that the Phantom can still sail on the sea. What kind of treasure is this? Not to mention Robinami and the others, Feng Yi was driving the Phantom, and soon he saw a figure riding a bicycle. Admiral Kuzan. Besides Marine Admiral Kuzan, there will never be a second person riding a bicycle on the sea. Well. At this time, Kuzan was also horrified to see that a touch of red appeared in front of him in an instant, and the speed made his face change slightly. Is that Feng Yi's Phantom? As expected, it's as fast as a phantom. Kuzan couldn't help but exclaimed. He who had learned about Feng Yi's information, of course, knew that the small red boat traveling so fast on the sea was Feng Yi. It's a unique marine navigation tool, but Kuzan didn't expect that Feng Yi's Phantom would still be able to sail on top of his ice. Kai. Accompanied by Feng Yi's Phantom's sudden braking, the Phantom turned a few corners on the ice layer before it stopped, and the voice of the side ear kept resounding. The red Phantom quickly rotated a few times. It was simply stunned, and then Feng Yi's figure jumped out of the Phantom in a cool way, appearing disabled and cool. Only took less than 10 seconds from Feng Yi's Phantom entering Kuzan's eyes to when Feng Yi got off the bus. Quick and cool. Admiral Kuzan, first didn't expect Marine to send you to intercept us. I really look up to our Maple Leaf Pirates. First we found Hawkeye, and now it's you. Feng Yi looked at Kuzan who was stepping on the bicycle, and smiled faintly. Until now, Feng Yi found that he couldn't fully perceive the emotional fluctuations in Kuzan's body, which showed that the other party was strong. This is only because your Maple Leaf Pirates are growing too fast. Kuzan heard the words as also a faint issue. Looking at your appearance, it seems that you are planning to hold me here and let your crew leave first. Then you will use your Phantom to escape together. It's really a good plan. But do you think it's possible for you to escape from my grasp? Then Kuzan analyzed the reason why Feng Yi came alone. Humph. Don't talk too much, you're not sure if you're my opponent. Feng Yi snorted coldly when he heard the words. It seems that being an Admiral IQ is really not stupid. At least not the pig heads of those pirates. Hey, looking at your appearance, do you have confidence in your own strength? But you are not the first pirate who is confident in yourself in front of me. There is only one final end, and that is to be caught by me. Stay. Kuzan didn't get angry when he heard the words, he smiled faintly. His tone was full of disdain for Feng Yi. Humph. You're courting death. I'll let you see how good I am. Feng Yi heard that he was furious. Since his debut, when has he been so despised by others? Even Hawkeye has never despised him like this. Even if he knows Kuzan, it really angered him, and Feng Yi didn't care so much anymore. Swinging the knife, he charged towards Kuzan. Facing Admiral Kuzan, Feng Yi was different from facing Hawkeye, and he burst out with all his fighting power from the very beginning, and Conqueror Haki was fully open. Boom! Accompanied by Feng Yi's movements, an overwhelming aura pressed against Kuzan, and Vivi shuddered during the entire course of the disease. So strong. From Feng Yi, Kuzan's lazy expression could not help but change Vivi. With such strength, he had to deal with it carefully. Ice block bipolar spear. Immediately, Kuzan was attacking, and with a wave of his hand, several ice spears were suspected from the sea, and after they came, they attacked Feng Yi, who was rushing forward. Chi-chi. Bloodthirsty fangs. The face of Kuzan's attack, Feng Yi couldn't help but unleash his bloodthirsty fangs, and instantly wiped out Kuzan's attack, and then continued to charge forward. The polar spear is useless, then try this. Kuzan saw that his first wave of attacks was useless, and there was no big surprise, and continued to attack. Frozen moment capsule. Then Kuzan sent out an ice shock wave, and hit Feng Yi. As long as it was hit by his shock wave, no matter what it was, it would be frozen. Humph. Of course, Feng Yi knew about Kuzan's attack ability, so he didn't care about it at all. Not only did Conqueror Haki gather around his body, but Yulu's entire blade was also wrapped in Conqueror Haki, so that the weapon would not be frozen due to carelessness. Boom. Feng Yi looked at the shock wave coming from the attack. Seeing that he couldn't dodge, he didn't dodge. He slashed directly at it, and the strong aura immediately scattered from the middle. Kuzan's frozen moment shockwave was also cut off by Feng Yi. Whoosh. Then Feng Yi's figure was not slowing down, and continued to charge towards Kuzan. The body, including the weapon, was not affected by Kuzan's attack just now. Seeing Feng Yi was completely fine, Kuzan's eyes couldn't help Vivi shrink, and he secretly said that it was impossible. Does Feng Yi know that his tricks are not good enough? Otherwise, the battle will be so cautious. Ice block bipolar spear. Then Kuzan didn't dare to be careless, he waved his hand and attacked Feng Yi again. This time, it was no longer as simple as gathering a few ice spears, but he had gathered dozens of ice spears at once. Go! In response to Kuzan's low drink, the ice spears shot up at Feng Yi in an orderly manner, and with the shooting of each ice spear, next to him was another ice spear. Gathered out, Kuzan completely treated Feng Yi as an opponent of the same level. Amazing. Weeping ghosts and gods. The face of Kuzan's super attack, Feng Yi didn't dare to neglect, and immediately used his powerful sword to summon. Chi-chi. After Feng Yi's words fell, a sky-shaped and ghost-shaped slash was bursting towards Kuzan, and the slash also contained Haki, otherwise it would be impossible to hurt Kuzan. So far, Feng Yi can only use the second word of these two moves, heaven, and ghost, and the third word must at least be Feng Yi entering the level of a great swordsman. If the three words appear together, it represents the highest level of these two sword skills. That is not what Feng Yi can perform at present. It actually fused Haki into the slash. Seeing this, Kuzan's eyes couldn't help but become suspicious again. Such a slash can already cut him in an elemental state at will, so he can't be careless at all. Chapter 173 _ Battle of Kuzan. But even so, Kuzan didn't mean to defend, and Feng Yi's slashing attack might not be able to attack him. Chi-chi-chi. Boom boom boom. The bipolar spear from Kuzan kept bombarding Feng Yi's slash, and the piercing sound of collision continued to resound. As expected, Feng Yi's slash had not yet entered within 10 meters of Kuzan, and was completely destroyed by Kuzan's bipolar spear. Destroyed. Whoosh whoosh. Then countless bipolar spears continued to bombard Feng Yi after Feng Yi's slashing attack disappeared. Rely on it. Seeing this, Feng Yi couldn't help but scolded him in a low voice. He didn't expect that his slash would not threaten Kuzan at all. It was indeed Admiral's strength. With a bounty of less than 400 million, it seems that it is difficult to be Kuzan's opponent. Humph. Although he saw Kuzan's strength, Feng Yi was not afraid, and snorted softly. The body of anger. Now. While swinging the knife to cut off all the attacking polar spears, Feng Yi shouted at Kuzan. Not good. Hearing Feng Yi's low voice, Kuzan couldn't help but let out a low cry. He knew about Feng Yi's ability, and he knew that Feng Yefei's fruit ability was very tricky. When he heard Feng Yi drink lowly, he knew that Feng Yi was using that fruit ability on him. But he didn't sense any sign of getting hit. Kai. It wasn't until his body of anger flew out of his body that Kuzan's eyes widened and his heart was horrified. Although the intelligence had been analyzed, he did not expect that Feng Yi's fruit ability was the same as the analysis, completely ignoring defenses and dodging. 100% hit ability. It's troublesome now. Seeing his body of anger flying in Feng Yi's direction, Kuzan felt in trouble. The body of anger, the bipolar spear strikes back. Summoning Kuzan's body of anger, Feng Yi was Yin Isho, and then ordered to the body of anger. If he wants to defeat Kuzan, he can only rely on the ability of the body of anger. Whoosh whoosh. After Feng Yi's words fell, countless scarlet-red bipolar spears shot towards Kuzan from Feng Yi's side. Humph. Seeing that the other party used his tricks to deal with him, Kuzan couldn't help snorting coldly. A look of disdain flashed in his eyes. Even if he copied a body of anger with the same abilities as him, Kuzan didn't think a copy would be his opponent, as long as he found the weakness of the copy. Frozen moment capsule. Icy roar. Then Kuzan calmly and gradually displayed the ice moves he mastered one by one. Kuzan found that the opponent's ability and moves were actually the same as his, and the power of the ice blocks that he had created was actually exactly the same as the one he used. How is this possible? Kuzan couldn't help but be shocked. He originally thought that Feng Yi copied the ability of frozen fruit only when he came out. The most use of frozen fruit is to reach the state of mastery. Boundary. Humph. I don't believe that the strength of the replica is really enough to compete with me. Anger flashed in Kuzan's eyes, and he hummed in his heart. Anyone who is attacked by a copy of their own will feel extremely angry and aggrieved. Humph. Clearly sensed Kuzan's emotional changes, of course knew that Kuzan was constantly looking for the weakness of the body of anger. Feng Yi couldn't help but snorted. He wouldn't let Kuzan look for the weakness of the body of anger so leisurely. If once discovered, his advantage is gone. Whoosh. Then Feng Yi's figure kept flashing up to Kuzan under the cover of the body of anger. Bloodthirsty fangs. When he entered within 10 meters of Kuzan, Feng Yi displayed his sword skills and attacked Kuzan. Boom. Feng Yi's attack penetrated Kuzan's body in an instant, but Kuzan's figure disappeared suddenly, or he became an ice block. It didn't hurt him at all. Penetrating Kuzan's figure, Feng Yi couldn't help but be surprised. Under his attack, even elementalization would be slashed and injured, because his attack contained Conqueror Haki in it, but Feng Yi didn't feel that Kuzan was injured. How could he not be shocked? Haha, your attack is useless to me, even if you fuse Haki into the slash. Kuzan, who appeared 10 meters behind Feng Yi, couldn't help laughing at Feng Yi. It's actually an ice avatar. When did Kuzan pirate the Hokage's avatar? Entering Kuzan's reappearance, Feng Yi suddenly exclaimed in his heart, looking at Kuzan's ability. What he thought of was the substitute technique in Hokage, and what Kuzan performed was the ice attribute ice substitute technique. It instantly transfers to another place, leaving the ice double to withstand all attacks, in order to achieve the purpose of dodging and escaping the enemy's attack. Bloodthirsty fang broken. Feng Yi, who didn't believe in evil, couldn't help roaring. His rage and fury were also displayed, and he slashed towards the position where Kuzan appeared. Boom. Seeing that Kuzan's figure was slashed and shattered by his own slash again, Fengyi didn't look at him, but looked at the position where Kuzan reappeared according to his emotions. Damn it. It's really an ice substitute technique. Seeing that Kuzan's moves were exactly the same as the stand-in technique, Fengyi's heart burst out with a foul language. The Logia fruit ability person who can stand in for stand-in, his slash combined with hockey has completely lost its effect. Not necessarily, it's useless even if Kuzan can use the ice substitute technique to perform a super large-scale slash. Then Fengyi remembered the weakness of the substitute technique in Hokage. Heart sneer. Fengyi believed that Kuzan's ice substitute technique could only be performed within a certain range. This is also because Fengyi is familiar with the weakness of the stand-in technique in Hokage, so he can analyze the weakness of Kuzan's ability so quickly. But knowing the weakness is one thing, it's hard to say whether Fengyi can use it or not. After all, the larger the range of moves, the greater the consumption. The only thing I can pose a threat to Kuzan at the moment is death. Fengyi secretly said in his heart, and then rushed towards Kuzan. Kuzan, die for Lao Su. Destroy the world. Don't get close to Kuzan, look at Kuzan's direction sharply, Fengyi snorted coldly, and his opponent slashed his most powerful sword skill. Boom. In an instant, all the scenery within 100 meters has changed, and the sword realm like heaven and earth reappears. The terrifying coercion immediately oppressed Kuzan. Sword Realm. Chapter 174-Sword Realm. Seeing Fengyi's attack, Kuzan was surprised. Looking at the range shrouded in the Sword Realm, he knew that no matter where he evaded with the ice substitute technique, he would be attacked by Fengyi, and he could no longer use the substitute technique to evade Fengyi's attack, unless he suddenly appeared in 100 meters going out, but it is impossible for him to do it now. Fengyi's attack has been chopped down. Humph. But then Kuzan snorted coldly. He couldn't use the avatar technique to dodge, so he didn't need to dodge. He wouldn't be afraid of Fengyi if he fought hard. Breaking the ice. Then Kuzan shouted with a tone full of icy hockey, and his whole body instantly turned into countless ice slag and scattered. Chi chi chi. Then Kuzan's incarnation of the Milky Way Gangsha-like ice slag began to rotate and spread. A vortex quickly appeared, and slowly swallowed out. Everything that was close to it was turned into ice slag and circled in, and then the power of the ice vortex is constantly increasing. What is even more terrifying is that around the ice vortex, the space becomes distorted, and the sword realm displayed by Fengyi actually begins to become blurred, and ripples continue to appear. Is that a god horse? Seeing this, Fengyi's eyelids couldn't help Vivi's twitching, and he felt an inexplicable sense of danger coming in his heart. He didn't expect Kuzan to have such a powerful move, something he had never seen in the original book. Body of Rage. Then Fengyi shouted at the angry body on the side, and wanted it to perform this ice flow break. However, to Fengyi's surprise, after receiving Fengyi's order, Kuzan's body of anger only turned into countless ice slag, but it couldn't be swallowed up by Kuzan's exaggerated spinning and circling. Ha ha. Sure enough, the weakness of your copying ability is that you can't copy hockey. My ice flow break can only be performed by mixing hockey. Of course, your copy can't be used. Kuzan, who was transformed into countless ice slag, couldn't help laughing out loud. He just wanted to compete with Fengyi's sword-level sword skills, but he unexpectedly discovered the weakness of the body of anger, and couldn't help but ha-ha laugh out loud, and the sound resounds from all directions. Chi chi chi. After Kuzan's words were finished, the terrifying ice vortex was even more full of hockey's tyrants, and the harsh voices kept ringing. The temperature on the sea, which had already dropped because of Kuzan's ice age, couldn't help but get even colder. The temperature is below zero. Ah! Go to hell. Fengyi felt that Kuzan's ice flow break was getting more and more powerful as time passed, so he couldn't help roaring, and he slashed down. Bang 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 bang. Boom boom boom. In an instant, Fengyi didn't know how many slashes he slashed, and he swept up Kuzan as if the sky was annihilated. The two energies couldn't help but collide fiercely, and the strong collision sound resounded. Hum. Then came a silent vibration. Feng Yi was horrified to find that his sword realm was actually shattered under Kuzan's ice flow. Feng Yi blasted up. Ha ha. It seems that your strongest sword skills are nothing more than that. Only this level, then you wait to be locked in and impelled down. After Feng Yi's sword realm disappeared, Kuzan's laughter sounded inside Bing Lupo. I was actually suppressed by the terrifying momentum of Feng Yi's sword realm just now. This time I finally let out my breath and found my way back. Next, he is going to defeat Feng Yi. Escape. Seeing that his strongest sword skills were actually smashed by Kuzan's ice flow, Feng Yi's mind flashed the idea of running away. He didn't expect that he was still far from Admiral's strength. Make more stops here. Whoosh. From the corner of his eyes, he glanced at the place where the phantom was, and Feng Yi's figure rushed up instantly. Body of Rage, Elementalization, block Kuzan's attack. While flashing towards the phantom, Feng Yi gave an order to Kuzan's Body of Anger, asking Kuzan's Body of Anger to block Kuzan's attack for him. Hear Feng Yi's order. Kuzan's Body of Anger immediately did the same, and turned into a red ice tornado, savagely blocking Feng Yi and blocking the ice flow. Chi chi chi. Then Bing Lupo collided fiercely with the ice stream tornado of the Body of Anger. Under the impact of Ice Stream Po, the ice stream tornado, which was also incarnated by anger, could not help but tremble, but blocked the ice. In less than a second, it was completely shattered by Kuzan's ice stream, and then the crimson ice slag was assimilated and absorbed by ice stream, making Kuzan's ice stream even more terrifying. Bang! However, Feng Yi entered the phantom at this time, and instantly closed all the windows and doors. Then turn on the engine and run away in no time. HMPH, have you entered your phantom? Then I'll smash you and your phantom together. Pull you out of it. Kuzan's sneer sounded again in the ice flow in the sky, and then his incarnation Bing Liapu blasted down at Feng Yi's phantom and drove Feng Yi. No time. Boom. Then Feng Yi was in the phantom, and was devoured by Kuzan's incarnation of the real ice stream Po. Bang 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 bang, the originally thick sea ice layer was all shattered at this moment. Damn it. After Feng Yi entered the phantom, he couldn't help but scolded when he saw the situation outside. He could only rely on the phantom's defense. If the phantom's defense couldn't stop him, he couldn't resist Kuzan's move at all. Boom boom boom. Soon as he scolded him, Kuzan's ice flow broke on the phantom, and Feng Yi only felt a strong shaking from the phantom. There is nothing to see outside, only the ice blue sky is left. Chi chi chi. Countless ice streams were swept up on the phantom, and the phantom was blown into a whirl. However, Feng Yi was relieved that the phantom that had passed through the transformation was really strong enough. Please call Bing Lupo to bombard it a little bit. There are no scars. Completely defended Kuzan's attack. How is this possible? Seeing that his strongest attack failed to reach Feng Yi's phantom, Kuzan couldn't help being horrified. He never imagined that the phantom that could be easily broken in his eyes was not only extremely fast, but also so amazing in defense. The sealed leaf is protected inside like a turtle shell, making his attack completely ineffective. I don't believe it anymore. Chapter 175-ran. Kuzan, who did not believe in evil, could not help but control more and more ice currents to bombard the phantom, but the result he got was shocking. No matter how powerful he attacked Feng Yi's phantom, that phantom was nothing at all. Ha ha. Feng Yi fully realized the phantom's defense metamorphosis inside, and couldn't help laughing out loud, and then skillfully began to manipulate the phantom with both hands and feet, and the engine started at maximum energy. Knowing that you can't beat Kuzan, it's time to run away. Kai. Then behind the phantom, a powerful airflow is jetted out, and the jet engine is activated. Whoosh. Then the phantom broke away from the bombardment of the ice flow in the air, and rushed into the broken ice layer below. Kai. Then the phantom was in a super gorgeous form, sprinting from one ice layer to another, and kept going away. Want to run away, hum. Seeing Feng Yi running away with the phantom, Kuzan couldn't help snorting coldly, and the figure appeared suspiciously from Bing Lupo. The figure soon appeared on a broken ice layer. Then Kuzan put his hands into the sea. The ability of the frozen fruit came into play instantly. This time he wanted to stop Feng Yi from escaping. Ice Age. Chi Chi Chi. The ice layer that was originally broken, under the Ice Age of Kuzan, rippled at a terrifying speed, and soon became suspicious again. Boom boom boom. And this time Kuzan is not simply to freeze all the sea surface, because then Feng Yi can still drive the phantom to leave quickly. Therefore, in the distance that Feng Yi has not yet reached, the huge and thick ice layer ice block was manipulated by Kuzan, and it stood out, completely blocking the road in front of Feng Yi. Kai. The speed of the phantom is extremely fast, like a rocket facing the huge ice wall. No, it should be iceberg. It slammed up, and it was about to hit it. Seeing the fast-moving phantom that was about to hit iceberg, the corners of Kuzan's mouth twitched slightly. He couldn't believe it. Feng Yi could still escape under such iceberg's block. Hey! Feng Yi, who clearly sensed Kuzan's emotional changes, also had Vivi's lips curled up. Facing the iceberg in front of him, not only did he not slow down or turn the steering wheel, but instead accelerated his speed and slammed up hard. The original Feng Yi would never dare to put it on like this, but after Kuzan's attack just now, he has already verified how powerful and terrifying the phantom is. Even if it hits iceberg, Feng Yi believes that it will never happen. How is it possible? He can't find death. Sure enough, seeing the movements of Feng Yi and phantom, Kuzan couldn't help but stunned and murmured. He was also preparing for Feng Yi to turn the direction, so that he also suspected that iceberg would gather in front of those directions to block. How did Feng Yi know that the phantom was about to collide? Could it be that he wants to smash through? Kuzan said in surprise. His eyes widened suddenly, and he also heard the terrifying defense of the phantom. Even his icebreaker was useless, but iceberg blocked it. In front, it shouldn't be able to stop it. Damn. After he figured it out, Kuzan cursed in a low voice, and it was too late to make amends, so he could only watch Feng Yi driving the phantom slamming into the iceberg. Boom. A huge roar resounded, and the entire iceberg and the connected ice covering a radius of several kilometers were stunned. Break. The dazzling red figure of the phantom slammed into iceberg's corner, appeared from behind iceberg in less than a few seconds, then appeared on the sea, and went away. Boom. After the phantom left, the iceberg that was smashed by the phantom also broke apart and became two halves, and then crashed into the sea, splashing countless seawater. In the distance, Kuzan could only stare at the scene in front of him, unable to stop Feng Yi from escaping. It was actually run away. Looking at the phantom walking away, Kuzan couldn't help but murmured. The angry look in his eyes had disappeared, replaced by an indifferent look of laziness. He ran away, and then it was not his headache, and his anger was also it's useless. It's better to be at ease. Leave the headache to Sengoku. As for Nami and the others who left earlier in the other direction, Kuzan has no interest in catching up. He just came to catch Feng Yi, and by the way, he caught all the crew members of the Maple Leaf Pirates, but he didn't catch the master, and he wouldn't catch those little characters. Call. Moreover, he had just cast Icebreaker and then cast Ice Age. He also consumed a lot. It's time to rest. As for Feng Yi, who was far away, he was dizzy on the phantom at this time. Although the phantom penetrated through iceberg, he escaped successfully, but when it hit iceberg, the huge shock made him still not very strong. Fresh. Vivi's head was confused for a while, and his ears were buzzing. Damn, next time you can't do something like hitting the wall. After Feng Yi scolded inwardly, he knew that he had escaped, and he could no longer control it. He passed out in a coma, and then he was automatically led all the way by the phantom. When he woke up, he didn't know where he would appear. The wind was calm, and on the boundless sea, a red bright spot suddenly appeared, and then it turned into a brilliant red shadow across it. Hoo hoo hoo. After the phantom, a huge sea king protruded from the sea, roaring angrily in the direction where the phantom disappeared, as if the appearance of the angry phantom disturbed their nap. Damn, where did all this go? Feng Yi looked at the vast sea, and couldn't help but curse. He didn't expect to wake up from a coma and come to Wufang. Then Feng Yi called the phone bug in Nami's hand. Nami, how are you now? Then Feng Yi put the phone bug in front of him, and then asked Nami on the other side of the phone bug. We're all right, how are you, master? Where are you now? As soon as Feng Yi's voice fell, Nami's joyful voice sounded immediately, and at the same time Kuina and the others greeted them. It could be heard that they were all very worried about Feng Yi. If you see that Feng Yi is all right, you can finally breathe a sigh of relief. It's unclear for the time being. Nami, please continue sailing with everyone, and I will find a way to find you. Hearing Nami's question, Feng Yi pondered for a while, and then said to Nami that he can clearly perceive the location of the pink planet represented by the girls through the ability of the emotional fruit, and he can find the location of the pink planet represented by the girls only by sensing. Female. After instructing Nami and the others, Feng Yi sailed on the windless belt again. Just keep going in this direction. Chapter 176-9 Snake Island. Sensing the positions of the girls, Feng Yi looked at the front of the sea and murmured, but in front of Feng Yi, he couldn't sense any human emotions, he could only sense the mood swings of some sea kings. It wasn't until half an hour later that Feng Yi realized that there were a lot of human emotional fluctuations in front of him, and at the same time Feng Yi also saw an island appear in front of him. Strange, this place should still be in the windless belt, how can there be humans living on the island in the windless belt? Feng Yi couldn't help but wonder when he saw the dark shadow in the distance. By the way, the 9 Snake Island where Sheji is located is in the windless belt of the Great Voyage route. Could it be that 9 Snake Island? Then Feng Yi remembered something, and couldn't help looking at the island in front of him excitedly and murmured. Snake Empress, the most beautiful and hottest beauty in One Piece, King of Pirates. Feng Yi thinks that the first beauty of One Piece, King of Pirates. The mermaid princess who appeared behind, Feng Yi also felt that she was inferior to the goddess. Go and see, Nami and the others should not be in danger for the time being. As long as I don't return to the Blood Dragon, Marine will not send Admiral to intercept them again. No one can compete with their strength even without me. The corner of Feng Yi's mouth as Vivi tilted up, gently Isho. They have all come to 9 Snake Island. If you don't go to see the Empress, you will be too sorry for yourself. Of course, it would be even better to be able to push the Empress down, so that even if I die, I will pass through One Piece, King of Pirates in vain. Feng Yi said with enthusiasm in his heart. The Empress is the woman he must earn in the harem. No matter what means are used, Feng Yi must get the Empress anyway. Puff puff. But just as Feng Yi was about to approach 9 Snake Island, in front of him, several giant snakes and sea kings appeared on the sea, staring at him with scarlet eyes. I can sense my approach from a distance, not an ordinary sea king. It seems to be the guardian sea snake of this 9 Snake Island. Feng Yi looked at the 3 huge sea snakes that appeared in the distance, and couldn't help but chuckle. Seeing a few huge sea snakes guarding the island, Feng Yi was even more sure that the 9 Snake Island where the Empress was located. Therefore, seeing the blocking of the sea snake, Feng Yi not only did not slow down to stop, but rushed forward more quickly. SSSS. Seeing that the phantom that they sensed the danger continued to approach, the 3 sea snakes could not help but spit out snake letters in anger, and then all opened their mouths to attack the phantom. Humph. Seeing this, Feng Yi couldn't help but snorted coldly. A few small sea kings also wanted to stop him. How could it be possible? A few slashes at Feng Yi can kill them all. Even if you use Phantom Seal Yi, you can kill them, but Feng Yi won't hit the wall again, and he won't kill the 3 sea kings in front of him. Because Feng Yi didn't want to be hated by the Empress for killing 3 sea kings guarding 9 Snake Island. Leave a bad influence. Go away for me. Get off, get off, get off. Then Feng Yi shouted loudly at the 3 sea kings, and the sound of Feng Yi full of hockey on the sea could not help reverberating. Conqueror hockey was fully open, and the 3 sea kings could not help but stop at the hockey after feeling the hockey of Feng Yi. There, everyone passed out in a coma, and then sank into the sea. Kai. After Feng Yi drove the phantom and eliminated the 3 sea kings, he easily entered the coast of Nine Snake Island. What is that? And all the women on Nine Snake Island, when Feng Yi was just released by hockey, looked at Feng Yi's direction in surprise, with a hint of surprise in their eyes. He was shocked by the hockey that Feng Yi had just released. Who is it? Why did he come to Nine Snake Island? On the throne, Vivi also opened her beauty pupils, and she also looked in the direction of Feng Yi, with a faint shock in her eyes. It actually has the same conqueror hockey as Empress. It can't be someone from the island, it must be an outsider. Humph. No matter who you are, if you enter Nine Snake Island without authorization, Empress will have to kill you. Then the Empress snorted softly and laughed in a low voice, her eyes flashing with indifferent killing intent. Come on, let's see what's going on. Then the Empress ordered to the people below, obviously going to see who came to their Nine Snake Island. Yes, Lord Snake. The following beauties responded respectfully when they heard the words, and then turned around and went down. They all wanted to know who was so capable and so courageous that they dared to enter their Nine Snake Island without authorization. Sister, let's go and have a look. The other party has an emperor like hockey like you, sister, and they are definitely not the opponent's opponents. After a few girls went down, her 2 younger sisters behind the Empress were worried about the Empress. Well, then you go, be careful. Outside the Nine Snake Island, a marine warship actually appeared on the windlass belt. Kill Vice Admiral in an instant. Is the Nine Snake Island in front? Marine Vice Admiral in front of him with a kind of arrogance. Yes, Lord Bit. In front of you is the Nine Snakes Island, the island ruled by Hancock, one of the Shichibukai Empresses. The Vice Admiral named Setsuna killed. He couldn't help raising his eyebrows when he heard the words, and he was very unhappy with the person in front of him. Full of posture, but still respectfully replied to the fat middle-aged person in front of him. Because of the fat middle-aged bit in front of me, but the world noble Tenryubito. Although his status is low among all Tenryubito, he is still so high above. Thinking of the purpose of Tenryubito coming here this time, it gave me a headache to kill in an instant. Haha, that's good. I heard that the Pirate Empress is the #1 beauty in the world, and her character is arrogant. This time, my lord, I will let her serve me well. Called Bit, immediately smiled lewdly when he heard the words. There was a playful light in his eyes, with a look on his face that the Empress would serve him when she knew that he was Tenryubito. She never thought that as a humble ordinary person, she would dare to refuse his favor. Well, it was for her to let the Empress serve him. It's her favor, she should be happy. Mr. Bit. Hearing Bit's words, Instant Kill couldn't help but raise his brows again. The Empress is one of the Shichibukai, what if she refuses? All of us together will not be her opponent. Then the instant killing, he pointed his worries to Tenryubito. Humph, does she dare to reject me as Tenryubito? We Tenryubito are nobles of the world, and everyone else must serve us. This is your honor. Arrogant way. Looking at the instant killing with a very unpleasant expression, it seems that the strange instant killed his good mood. Seeing the expression on Tenryubito's face, Instant Kill had no choice but to stop speaking. Anyway, with Tenryubito here, he just had to do things obediently, although he was very reluctant and disdainful. Chapter 177 and Intruders. In the jungle full of dense huge trees, Feng Yi walked handsomely with rain and dew in one hand, and slowly entered Nine Snake Island. Rustle. Suddenly Feng Yi's footsteps stopped, and he looked back with a suspicious look at the direction behind him, which was also the direction of Feng Yi's landing. What's the matter? How could other mood swings also appear outside the Nine Snake Island, and it seems that they are still coming to the Nine Snake Island. Feng Yi couldn't help but murmured. He didn't expect that even if he entered Nine Snake Island, there were other people coming to Nine Snake Island, and more than one person, the number of one boat, hundreds of emotional fluctuations. Who cares, no matter who comes, just don't get in my way, or kill them all. Then Feng Yi sneered, and then continued to enter Nine Snake Island. It wasn't until half an hour later that Feng Yi stopped, because in front of Feng Yi, a whole team of enemies had appeared. The warriors of Nine Snake Island were all female warriors. There were no warriors on Nine Snake Island. A man. At the beginning, Feng Yi used Conqueror Haki to deter the Sea Kings guarding Nine Snake Island, but he has already alerted the people on Nine Snake Island. Of course, a team of female warriors were dispatched, and Feng Yi encountered one of them. Look, someone's there. After finding Feng Yi, a very hot-dressed female warrior pointed to Feng Yi's position and shouted in a low voice. Brush brush. As soon as the female warrior's voice fell, the other female warriors all looked at Feng Yi's location, and everyone's eyes showed vigilance and anger. Be wary of Feng Yi's strength. Of course anger is because the other party dares to break into their Nine Snake Island. However, they still quickly stepped forward and surrounded Feng Yi in the middle. All of them were facing Feng Yi with weapons in their hands, and half of them were holding bows and arrows. Pull the bow and aim at Feng Yi. Strange, how does this person look like this? The chest is so small and flat. While watching Feng Yi vigilantly, one of the girls couldn't help but murmured. Yeah, much smaller than ours. Yes, yes. As soon as the girl's voice fell, several female warriors immediately echoed the words, all of them staring at Feng Yi curiously. But after one of the red-haired beauties who clearly belonged to the captain waved, the female warriors stopped. Who are you? Why did you break into our Nine Snake Island? The red-haired beauty captain looked at Feng Yi coldly and asked. Hey, this is really Nine Snake Island. The place where the Empress Hancock is. Hearing the question from the red-haired beauty, Feng Yi didn't answer. Instead, he said, Isho, what was before was just his guess, and now she is sure that this island is Nine Snake Island. While chuckling, Feng Yi was also looking at the beautiful warriors of Nine Snake Island, and found that all of them were beautiful women, but none of them were ugly women. Among them, the red-haired beauty captain was the most gorgeous and cold. The cold eyes also add a certain icy temperament to her, which looks very cool and glamorous. The face of melon seeds, the eyebrows of the moon, the big eyes are bright and moving, the white and smooth shoulders are bare and exposed, the chest is a pair of sturdy chests, the flat abdomen and the slender white jade legs, no matter where on the body is like that. She is beautiful and attractive, her body is very hot, and she doesn't wear many clothes, which makes Feng Yi's eyes immediately show lust. Damn outsider, can you call the name of our Empress Snake Ji directly? Hearing Feng Yi's words, the red-haired beauty captain burst out in anger, and Feng Yi's gaze at her made her feel very uncomfortable. When the others heard Feng Yi's words, they all stared at Feng Yi with fiery eyes, calling out the Empress's masterpiece. It seemed to them that they had received a huge provocation. The Empress is the person they admire the most. Hey, don't you need to be so angry, you just said the name of your lady Snake Ji. Feng Yi heard that. Hey Isho, it's no wonder that he would be afraid of these little characters in front of him. Humph. Everyone, grab him and bring him back to the palace, and let Lord Sheji handle him personally. The red-haired beauty captain shouted angrily when he heard the words, and immediately shouted to the others. Go. Hearing the order of the red-haired beauty captain, the other female warriors snorted in unison, and then all shot. Whoosh whoosh. First of all, several archers shot up at Feng Yi, and turned into a few hurriedly shot at Feng Yi. Each arrow was covered with a layer of armament haki, which made the arrows more powerful. Humph. Seeing the opponent attacking, Feng Yi couldn't help snorting coldly, and then the rain in his hand slashed out. Ding ding ding. The sword light flashed, and the 4 or 5 sword arrows that shot at Feng Yi were cut down by Feng Yi and stinged on the tree body next to him. Chi chi chi. Several archers attacked unsuccessfully, and several other female warriors also attacked Feng Yi closely, each with spears and large knives in their hands, slashing at Feng Yi. It is also covered with a faint layer of haki, which makes its attack more than double the power of ordinary ones. I have long heard that all the female warriors on Nine Snake Island know how to use Haki, but I didn't expect it to be true. An entire island, everyone can use Haki combat, what a terrifying combat power. Feng Yi couldn't help but move when he saw that all the warriors would use Haki. At the same time as the thoughts flashed, the island certainly did not forget to dodge the attacks of the girls. The figure was only staggered by Vivi, so they avoided the attacks of the girls. Go to hell. However, the archer's attack was forced, and the attacks of several female warriors were dodged, but there was a more stern attack on Feng Yi, whose speed made Feng Yi have no hurry to dodge. Feng Yi's eyes looked at each other contemptuously. It was the cold and glamorous red-haired beauty captain, who did not hold any weapons in his hands, and kicked Feng Yi with those sharp legs alone. Although her thighs looked slender and weak, Feng Yi did not dare to underestimate the opponent's attack. A strong force mixed with armament Haki and then passed from the blade to Feng Yi. The bang resounded, and Feng Yi's figure was almost shaken out. However, when he felt that the opponent's attack was not easy, Feng Yi had already gathered Haki on the body of the sword to resist the attack of the red-haired beauty captain. Therefore, Feng Yi's figure was not shaken back at all, but the red-haired beauty captain was shaken back because of Feng Yi's strength. So strong. Chapter 178-Redhead. After being shaken out, the red-haired beauty captain was secretly shocked. Just don't look at her just kicking out casually. It was already a good time for her to strike with all her strength. I didn't expect to take Feng Yi a little, there was no way to do it, but she was shocked back, of course she was shocked. With Feng Yi possessing such strength, their team together would not be a match for Feng Yi alone. Hey! The red-haired beauty captain was shocked and knocked back. Feng Yi saw that her beautiful and smooth thighs were Hihi Isho, and his left hand grabbed forward sharply, instantly grabbed the red-haired beauty captain's jade feet, and then pulled hard over here. Ah! The red-haired beauty captain exclaimed, and Feng Yi grabbed her thigh and slammed her body into his arms. Feng Yi's left hand passed between her legs and hugged her sideways. The pose is ambiguous and playful. Let go of me. The red-haired beauty captain suddenly let out a coquettish cry. She had never experienced such a posture, and she didn't know how to fight back for a while, so she could shout angrily. But there is no sign of shyness, because in her concept, there is no such thing as a man and a woman who do not kiss, and she has never seen a man since she was born. Just heard of it. Hey, you attacked me first, how could you let go? Feng Yiheng hugged the red-haired beauty captain, feeling the warmth and smoothness from the other's legs, his heart swayed. And then smiled at the red-haired beauty captain on his shoulders. Let go of our captain. Otherwise we are welcome. Let's put down our captain Nokie. Seeing the red-haired beauty captain being held against Feng Yiheng's shoulders, the other female warriors couldn't help but shout out angrily at Feng Yi, but they did not dare to continue to attack Feng Yi. Fear of hurting their captain. Snapped. Hey, so your name is Nokie. You are unlucky and captured by me. Feng Yi couldn't help but patted Nokie's sweet buttocks with his left hand. After feeling the amazing elasticity on it, he was facing Nokie and Hei Isho. Capture me. What do you want? Hurry up and let me go, or you'll have to die even more on the island. When Shang Butt was slapped by Feng Yi, Nokie couldn't help but blushed with anger, facing Feng Yi. Shout out. As she spoke, Nuokie had already attacked Feng Yi's back with both hands, but just as she moved, she felt a huge Haki shake her whole body. Hanging down behind Feng Yi, her delicate body bowed down, and a pair of arrogant jade girl peaks squeezed Feng Yi's tiger back fiercely. Boom! When Feng Yi released Haki, the other female warriors who were besieging Feng Yi also fell into a coma after Feng Yi's Haki released them. The most beautiful female captain among the people, and she lost interest in them, and left there quickly with Nokie on her back. I am not familiar with everything on Nine Snake Island. Now I've captured a beautiful woman and I'm still the captain. As long as I find a place to clean up her, it will be much more convenient, so I can sneak into the palace on Nine Snake Island. The sun and the queen face each other. Carrying Nokie while swept away, Feng Yi couldn't help secretly thinking, and he didn't know whether he fell in love with the glamorous and beautiful Captain Nokie on his shoulders, or if he really said what he said in his heart. But Nokie was indeed captured by Feng Yi. Carrying Nuaokie all the way, Feng Yi avoided a few teams, and finally found a hidden tree hole. There were holes in the tree hole. Feng Yi found some hay and rushed over. Yiren became a warm and unique nest. Woo! When Feng Yi rudely threw Nokie on the hay, Nokie snorted and woke up. It's you. After seeing Feng Yi, Nokie immediately shouted angrily, standing up coldly and attacking Feng Yi. Don't waste your energy, you can't be my opponent. Feng Yi didn't move, just snorted coldly, and Nokie stopped the attack in his hand. Nokie stopped because she knew that she was not Feng Yi's opponent. As long as Feng Yi released Conqueror Haki, she would be shocked into a coma, let alone fight. Who the hell are you? What is your intention to break into our 9 Snake Island? Then Nokie said coldly to Feng Yi. The newly emerging Captain Maple Leaf is me. As for coming to 9 Snake Island, it's purely an accident, but since I'm here, by the way, it's my attempt to conquer your Lady Snake Princess and become my woman. Quote. Hearing Nokie's question, Feng Yi couldn't help but smile at Nokie and laughed. What? How dare you blaspheme Lord Snake Princess? Hearing Feng Yi's words, Nuaokie immediately glared at Feng Yi and shouted angrily, and then looked at Feng Yi in astonishment. You are a man. Only a man would say such words as Lord Snake who conquered them. When he said this, Nokie's eyes were already looking at Feng Yi with curiosity. Of course. If you're not a man, why would you want to conquer your Lady Snake Princess? Feng Yi couldn't help sneering when he heard this. Now you also know that you are my captive. Now I will give you 2 choices. One is to obey me obediently and take me into your palace. Then Feng Yi just turned to Nokie indifferently. Keep going. But before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Nokie angrily. HMPH, even if I die, I won't take you to sneak into the palace. Chapter 179-Nokie. Nuaokie knew that Feng Yi's captive would make such a request, and could not help but say angrily, she would not do anything that would endanger their Lady Snake Princess. Hey, it seems that you chose the second one. Feng Yi heard Isho, not angry, but looked at Nokie Vivi and smiled. What is the second one? Nokie saw that Feng Yi was not angry, and asked Feng Yi suspiciously, wondering what the second choice was. Hey, that's how I trained you to be my slave girl in the past few days, and then you will naturally obey my master's orders. Seeing Nokie asked curiously, Feng Yi suddenly she looked at her with a wicked smile on her face. Because of his growing strength, Feng Yi found that he was becoming more and more evil, and he didn't want to suppress him at all. If he sees a beautiful woman, he will grab it by force. If he obeys, he will be his woman. If he resists, he will be a slave girl. Do whatever you want. Bastard, I won't be trained by you even if I die. Hearing Feng Yi's words, Nuaokie suddenly scolded coldly, her eyes flashed fiercely, and she actually stretched out her jade palm and pierced her heart fiercely, although she didn't know what a slave girl represented. But there is a word for slave, she thinks it is a slave, she has only heard of being trained as a slave, and there is no way to resist the master's order. Nokie didn't want to be like that, and decided to commit suicide. Humph. Seeing Nuaokie's appearance, Feng Yi couldn't help but snorted. He had expected that Nuaokie would have such a strong reaction. With a flash, he invaded in front of Nuaokie, and moved his left hand to knock Nuaokie out. Er's wrist was caught. Damn. Feeling that Feng Yi's right hand would be grabbed vigorously, Nokie couldn't help but let out an angry cry, but he didn't even let her die. Knowing that suicide with the other hand wouldn't work, Nokie didn't care whether it was Feng Yi or not. Yi's opponent is now, and the other hand is attacking Feng Yi. Snapped. But just as soon as her jade hand moved, she was caught by Feng Yi's other hand. Kai. Nokie, whose hands were caught, was equally ruthless, and when he lifted his leg, he shot Feng Yi's legs with his knees. If Feng Yi was kicked out this time, Eggy wouldn't be able to invade Nokia in a short period of time even if it didn't explode. Boom. But that kind of thing is definitely impossible to achieve. Feng Yi just raised his leg to block Nokia's attack, and then took advantage of Nokia's unsteady body to stand on one foot. Nokia is overwhelmed on the hay. Ah! The body fell on the hay, and was pressed by the sealed leaves. Nokia couldn't help but exclaimed. Both hands are struggling hard at the same time, and both legs are desperately trying to find an attack angle to attack Feng Yi. Humph! I didn't expect Nokia's reaction to be so intense. Feng Yi could only hold her down, so that she couldn't struggle. HMPH, I am not afraid of death, I'll see how you can train me to be your slave girl. After a while, Nuaokie, who found the struggle was useless, gave up the struggle and glared at Feng Yi fiercely. Hey, it's not looking, it's feeling. Or enjoy it, haha. Feng Yi couldn't help but hee isho, grabbed Nokia's two hands tightly with one hand, and then grabbed the promise with the other. A rope on Kier's body, and then tied Nokia's hands. Knowing that she can't resist Nokia, she has no idea how Feng Yi and others will train her, and let Feng Yi tie her hands. Not only did he bind Nokia's hands, Feng Yi also tied Nokia's feet with ropes, and fixed them on both sides. In this way, Nokia has become a herringbone and is bound to the hay on the ground by closed leaves. Then Feng Yi Kexi smiled and lay on top of Nokia's delicate body, and with a forceful tear, the clothes on Nokia's body were torn to shreds. The pair of arrogant jade girl peaks came out. They were big and tall. They were released by Feng Yi all of a sudden and they were still shaking. Ah! My clothes, damn it! Seeing Feng Yi tearing up her clothes, Nuaokie couldn't help but exclaimed, and then said angrily to Feng Yi, but there was no fear or shyness on his face. He faced other people without clothes. In 9 Snakes she grew up on the island. It seems that there is nothing, but the angry clothes are torn by Feng Yi. Hiss. However, of course Feng Yi ignored Nuaokie's anger and cursing, and moved his hands under Nuaokie's body to continue the unfinished tearing behavior. Damn, my pants. Bastard, what do you want to do? Seeing Feng Yi ignoring her and tearing up all the clothes on her body, Nuaokie scolded Feng Yi angrily again. Hey, why not? Let you experience the joy of being a woman. Feng Yi looked at Nokia's hot body, swallowed his saliva, and then smiled at Nokia. Ah! Not long after, Nokia's painful cry resounded in the spacious, bright and comfortable tree hole, followed by bursts of melodious and seductive youth symphony. In the end, Nuaokie was also completely overwhelmed by this strange happiness. He was completely silent in Feng Yi's power, and in the matter of men and women. For Feng Yi who brought her so much enjoyment, he remained in his heart. An indelible shadow, the mind no longer resists Feng Yi. At that time, after Feng Yi asked her about the 9 Snake Island Palace, Nuaokie was hesitant, but in the end he gave in under the harassment of Feng Yi. She couldn't refuse the happiness that Feng Yi's entry into her body brought her. And she also very much hopes that she can always follow Feng Yi's side in the future. Seeing Nokia's obedience, Feng Yi was of course happy, and at night he comforted Nokia for one night. The women on 9 Snake Island are particularly strong. After being sent to the peak dozens of times by Feng Yi, I woke up the next day in good spirits, but it was a little inconvenient to walk. Come onto my back, all you have to do is tell me the route. Seeing Nokia's appearance, Feng Yi couldn't help but say to Nokia. Ah! Hearing Feng Yi's words, Nuaokie only felt an inexplicable warmth in his heart, and he did not refuse, and immediately lay on Feng Yi's back. No, something happened to 9 Snake Island. After Nokia lay on Feng Yi's back, she suddenly exclaimed because she heard the warning sound of 9 Snake Island, which would only sound when something happened to 9 Snake Island. What happened to 9 Snake Island? Feng Yi also heard the voice, and murmured to Nokia. I thought in my heart that it seemed that the fleet that had come to 9 Snake Island originally did it, because their mood swings had all appeared in the palace of 9 Snake Island. Let's sneak in first and then talk about it. Feng Yi secretly said in his heart, and then ignored Nokia's worries, and hurried to the direction of the palace with Nokia on his back. Chapter 180-Captive. Nokie knew that Feng Yi's captive would make such a request, and he couldn't help but said angrily, she would not do harm to them in the Grand Palace of Snake Princess. Instantly killed Vice Admiral and Tenryubito were standing in front of a peerless enchanting person. The peerless beauty is really an empress, with vertical black hair, snake-shaped earrings on her ears, and a red robe. With her hot body, she is extremely sexy. It's just that the expression on the empress' face at this time was gloomy. Kill Vice Admiral in an instant. I hope you take him away as soon as possible, or Tenryubito dies on the island. It's none of my business. Tenryubito in front of her eyes with anger, and said angrily, but in the depths of the empress' eyes, there was an inexplicable panic and fear. When Bit in front of her heard the words, his proud face immediately turned gloomy. He just told the empress that she wanted her to serve him well for one night, and the empress said such words to him, which made the one who has always been high above the rest. How could he not be angry? Mr. Bit, I think we should go back. Kill Vice Admiral had a headache when he heard the words. He couldn't help turning his head to Tenryubito and said that he didn't dare to look at the empress, but he knew the terrifying charm of the empress, and he had already ordered his soldiers not to stare at the empress. But that's the case, all the soldiers still looked at the empress curiously, and then they were all shocked by the beauty of the empress. How could they look away? All eyes looked at the empress with peach heart. Humph. Go back. How is that possible? Bit couldn't help snorting when he heard this. Looking at the hot and glamorous empress, he only felt that his blood was constantly boiling, and he really wanted to play with each other, and even brought her back to serve him. But he did not expect the empress to dare to kill him. Tenryubito was instantly angry, and there was no lust in his eyes. Which woman he wanted was not obediently letting him play, and the empress actually said that she wanted to kill him, then it was absolutely unforgivable. Kill Vice Admiral in an instant. I will order you now, take the empress to me. I will imprint Tenryubito's mark on her, and make her the lowest slave. Then Tenryubito ordered to kill Vice Admiral instantly. Hearing Tenryubito's words, the empress and her two younger sisters trembled obviously, and a hint of panic flashed in their eyes. Facing the Tenryubito in front of her, the empress couldn't even release haki. This is all because of childhood shadows. Feeling terrified from the bottom of my heart for Tenryubito, I can't think of a fight. Just now when she said that she wanted to kill Tenryubito, she was just emboldening herself and wanted to drive away the other party. Empress never thought that Tenryubito would come to her 9-Snake Island. I don't know for a while how to deal with the situation at hand. Instant killing Vice Admiral didn't look at the Empress' expression, so she didn't see the Empress' panic at this time. Your Excellency Bit. Kill Vice Admiral said to Tenryubito with an embarrassed look on his face. He is no match for the Empress at all. He was only here to bring Tenryubito here. He didn't dare to do anything to capture the Empress, and he felt that he would never be able to do it. Do it now or I'll let you die in the big prison in Impel Down. Tenryubito didn't care about the danger of the instant killing. He threatened him, a disobedient dog, just kill it. A Vice Admiral, in his opinion, is a good dog. Admiral is a good dog. And he saw the Empress with a flustered face, which made him even more proud. If he dared to offend me, Tenryubito, he would turn you into a lowly slave. Hoo-hoo. Hearing Tenryubito's words, instant kill Vice Admiral couldn't help but breathe quickly, not tempted by a beautiful woman, but angry. He clenched his fists, but he couldn't refute Tenryubito's order, because Tenryubito was indeed have such ability. Empress, offended. Without much struggle in his heart, he killed Vice Admiral in an instant and then raised his head and said to the Empress. Anyway, he couldn't beat the Empress. It's okay to follow Tenryubito's orders, as long as you make sure you don't get killed by the Empress. Whoosh. Then he killed Vice Admiral in an instant. It wasn't a devil fruit person, and his figure disappeared instantly. It was shaved. Humph. Seeing the instant killing of Vice Admiral's hands, the Empress did not react, but she still snorted, and her body narrowly escaped the instant killing's attack. Seeing the Empress dodging his attack, His heart skipped a beat, and he raised his vigilance to pay attention to the Empress' counterattack. If he wasn't serious, maybe he would be killed by the Empress in a single encounter, but he was very aware of the Empress's strength. Absolutely cannot die here. Whoosh! Vice Admiral instantly was that the Empress had a chance to fight back after evading his attack, but the Empress did not fight back, but stepped back. What's the matter? Is the Empress injured? Instantaneous couldn't help but be surprised, but of course he would not let such an opportunity pass. He also saw that the Empress at this time seemed to be in a bad state, and she did not feel a strong suppression on the Empress. Thinking of the instant kill, I feel very excited. If he can defeat the Empress, he will definitely be cultivated more by the Marine headquarters, and maybe he can be given a powerful devil fruit like the 3 admirals, so that he can be promoted to become an existence of admiral. Shave. Then the instant kill is another move to shave, and quickly come to the front of the Empress. Shigen finger pistol. Then the instant kill was performed by Marine Rokushiki, and a sharp force between his fingers shot at the Empress who was close at hand. Asshole. Seeing the attack that killed Vice Admiral in an instant, the Empress couldn't help but scolded her with anger. However, her heart was still trembling at this time. She was afraid of what Tenryubito had just said. The Empress felt really bad. She found that she didn't even have the courage to take action. What should I do? Actually attacked Lord Snakeji. Everyone come on. Seeing the Empress dodging, the female warriors behind the Empress did not notice the Empress's abnormality, but they were angrily attacking the instant killing. Their aura was stronger than that of the Empress. As for the Empress' 2 younger sisters, the situation was the same as the Empress's. Vivi trembled all over her body, she couldn't even raise her aura to fight, she looked at Tenryubito in horror. Bang bang bang. Then those female warriors fought with the instant killer. Seeing their Vice Admiral being besieged by so many people, those Marines are no longer silent in the beauty of the Empress, and they are attacking the female warriors one after another. The combat power of these female warriors is extremely powerful. They are all crew members of the 9 Snake Pirates, and they are all the strongest female warriors on 9 Snake Island.